Hold up. That's the wrong song. Hold up.
Come on,
Yeah.
man. Come on.
Wow. Let's go.
First guy,
Go.
Omaha, good morning.
In the morning.
We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right this morning.
Wake up. 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 Wake up.
Good morning. Good morning. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. It's time to get up.
Wake up. Wake up. You better wake up.
Man, let that roll a little bit.
Not what it seems. This culture's not your reality. You better unplug or be a casualty. Cause the life that we losing, the drug and improving is keeping us off from our greatness.
Hey.
We gotta spread the love and stop hating. Then rearrange these front pages. From murder and death to building our wealth.
Shout out to Sherman Wells.
Milking the game till there's nothing left. And teaching my people to love themselves. I'm crashing on competition. That's an interference with the fucking mission. Man, we tired of listening, so we standing up. Unification amongst us. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Check 1 2 1 2. It's time to wake up. Thanks for joining us. Yo, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it straight.
Man. Wake up.
Thanks for joining us on this October the 2nd. October
Already.
the 2nd.
Yeah.
Yesterday was very traumatic. First of the month.
First of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Pay the rent.
And grab your Jacob. Come on.
Kimra, what's happening? You up early
Hey.
this morning. Appreciate you coming on in. Good morning, y'all. Yes, this is the hellos and how you doings of the morning. Before we start
Hello.
our 7 o'clock hard news start.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody coming on in early. I see Pops says good Wednesday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. That's what's up, man. Good morning, buddy. How you doing over there? How you
Man.
feeling?
Trying to get everything in order. But yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Feeling all right. Feeling energetic, especially for a hump day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
Feeling
typical
good.
hump day. I feel like a little bit like, man, gotta
Trying to get over.
that hump. Man.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right, man. Just a lot of work ahead of us, but it's it's not a daunting task. It feels like just got the future. The future's bright. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Feel that. I'm
Yeah.
feeling the daunting task right this moment, but it ain't not gonna last. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on a documentary, a short doc with MCC about the reentry program. So I'm in the editing stages of that, and I'm hating life right now.
Man. But
Day and night, like looking at the screen, like till I can't see no more. You know what I mean?
But shout out to Diane Good Collins and everybody over there at
Yeah.
180 Reentry Rap Program at Metro MCC doing the good work, man. Zombie in the way, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be for a good cause. Definitely enjoy, kind of checking out some of the stories that you're covering and highlighting some of the things that's going on, man. Definitely for y'all, look out. There'll be more coming down as far as what we're doing with 180 Reentry Rap, man.
There you go, man. There you go. Sue Kessel-Hagen gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Also, Judy Prinzler's up. She says, good morning,
Hey.
everyone. Appreciate you. Marlon Harrison says, good morning, First Sky fam. Sue Kessler-Hagen says, missed you guys Monday, but I was up in the Colorado mountains with my daughter enjoying the beautiful nature.
No, okay.
Love
It sound
that.
like we missed you. Like
Yeah, we'll be there next time. Yeah,
yeah, you out living life.
that's what's up. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
I can use a little outside right now for real.
Okay,
for real.
okay. You a mountain man? You
Nah. I go right near the beach. You know how
okay?
I do.
Right near the beach. I mean, I do it all, man. You might find me hiking on some mountains, man. Definitely
Okay.
down here. Yeah, down here in Georgia. I've heard good things about a few cabins up in the Tennessee mountains and things.
Okay.
Been meaning to check it out.
Well, give me a call when the mountain lions come after y'all. I'll be right down by
Hey.
the water, by the ocean.
Man,
Yeah,
I'll take that than some sharks. I'll take that much.
Yeah. I said near the beach, not in.
Oh,
The
okay. That's a good point. I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always good to get outside. We only got a few more weeks probably of decent weather around here too. So
Yeah.
get ready to
Yeah.
get ridiculous, I'm sure.
It was
Uh,
90 last time was still on, right? Is it still warm out there?
yeah, it was a 90. I don't know because I saw Celeste Butler. Shout out to Celeste Butler. She got up this morning. It was like 43 degrees. No, the
Mm.
early morning is getting cold. I believe about to make a change. So we'll
Oh
see.
yeah. It's coming.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if anybody see that video of that black wolf floating around. Apparently there's a black wolf walking around it. You didn't see that?
Nah, bro.
Yeah, I have to find that. I'll share it to friends up. Yeah, somebody spotted a black wolf with a dog. That was definitely a
With
wolf.
with a dog. Oh, you said wasn't a dog.
No, it
Definitely.
wasn't a dog. Yeah, now that'd be a sight. But no, it was a black wolf walking around in Omaha. Gotta be
Yeah.
careful.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Suitcase Higgins says I take the beach or the mountains, but the mountains are my happy place. That's what's up.
yeah, man.
Appreciate that. I miss the mountain. I used to live right up underneath Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead and all that in California. So I miss going up there too sometimes. But
Okay.
the drive made it traumatic. Excuse me. The drive made it traumatic.
Like kind of winding up the hills and
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is you don't want to do all that.
yeah.
And then I had I had a friend that got in an accident, it was just a
Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
traumatic experience going up
Yeah,
there. But yeah, once you're up there, beautiful, beautiful. The mountains are beautiful. Cabins,
yeah.
I can get down with that. I remember some good times at the cabins up there too.
Okay. See, there you
Yeah.
go. There you
It was in
go.
the cabin. I was in the cabin though.
There you go. Hey, that's what I said. We're gonna
Wasn't
check the
walking around
cabin out.
wasn't walking around with them California bears and stuff. But this is all good.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, there was something else they said, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, she says they're striking on the coast. Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk
Need
about that.
to need to stock up on paper towels, toilet paper, vegetables. According to my family on the East Coast.
Yeah, yeah. If you haven't gassed up, make sure you fill up the whip and yeah,
Yeah,
grab some supplies. We'll be talking about it. Actually, a shout out to not Flatwater, but Nebraska Examiner putting out kind of an article detailing, how this will impact Nebraska. So yeah,
that's
we'll
what's
be
up.
talking about that a little later on.
Miss Erica Fell gives us a good morning. Good morning to
Hey,
you. Appreciate you. I'm gonna get you them shirts one of these days. I'm gonna get you
yeah, they
get
on
them
the
over
way.
to you. Also, Pop says, buddy, when it comes to the cabins in the woods, I want you to watch an old movie named Deliverance.
Hey, hey, is that what dude got his ankles broke? Is that what?
No, that was called Misery. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
It
okay,
was in the
okay.
woods too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Suitcase says drive is definitely scary. Yep, we need to talk a little bit about driving in general here in Omaha.
Yeah.
Things went down. Maggie Miller
Mm.
Jenkins in the chat. Good morning. Says, do y'all know that Douglas and Sarpy counties draft their poll workers for voting season? You
We
guys are
talk
reading
about
our
that.
headlines. I appreciate that.
As always, as always. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, we'll be talking about that.
Yeah,
And there's some consequences if you don't answer the call. So yeah. Yeah, some
yeah.
information coming your way.
Like this. It's like this. It's like jury duty. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
By the way, that reminds me. Definitely check out our page, First Sky Omaha News. That's a whole separate page on Facebook as well. Check that out. There's some headlines and stuff over there. I usually take those headlines and put them over on Friends of First Sky Omaha because that's where a lot of the fam is. So you'll see it over there too. But yeah, lots of headlines over on First Sky Omaha News. Definitely check that page out. And yeah, man, it'll be lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff changing with us as far as what we're trying to put out. So do that, and also like and subscribe on YouTube because there's gonna be a lot of YouTube drops coming up as well. So just want to
Yeah.
remind people of that. Yeah, but good morning, good morning. Ron's reviews in the chat saying Wilderness Family Robertson. I don't know. Give me a lyric. I need a lyric from you, bro. I ain't heard a morning lyric from you in a minute. So let me know. Let me know. Also, he said Wilderness Family Robinson, right? Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people. I know a lot of people that are going to vacation right now just because of the weather.
Mm.
And I did hear a few people that were saying they were going to go somewhere, but now everybody's trying to be like, we better hold up. The
Well,
strike,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
strike is making people be like, I don't know if I want
Yeah.
to spend anything.
And I will say, coming off the heels of Hurricane Helene, like you never know what those roads are looking like, man. Especially in the Tennessee, southeast region, man. I'm seeing videos of Tennessee, Virginia, the Carolinas. It's not looking good out there, man. It's
Crazy.
definitely not looking good. So yeah, if you are planning on, visiting family, going somewhere, hitting that road, yeah, you might want to think twice or double check your route because you never
Most
know.
definitely.
Street whole roads getting washed out, man. It's
There you
crazy
go.
out there.
Special guest special guest Ashlei Spivey is coming on today to talk
There
about
you
her
go.
run and some things that's going on. And then, yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about Jasmine Harris and her announcement as well. I'm loving it. I'm
Yeah.
loving it. I'm loving what's going on right now. But yeah, appreciate you guys getting up for the hellos and how you doing. 7
Hello.
o'clock right now. If you believe in the concept of time, fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It's happening now.
Hey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Get ready to chime in. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the Guy. Man, it is Wednesday, October the 2nd today. And really appreciate everybody that's joining us this morning. We got a special guest, Ashlei Spivey, that's in the house. She's going to be coming up here in the middle of the show, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, we do a little bit of a news brief this morning, and then of course on the 8 o'clock hour we'll have a lot more discussion about what's going on locally, but also around the world. We've been talking this morning about some of the news that's out there and some of the news that you guys are putting in Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page, which we appreciate, and things that are on your mind too. Also, I saw some people that signed up to the newsletter, so we appreciate you guys signing up to our weekly wrap newsletter.
Hey.
If you have not done that, I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat for you to do that. But thanks for everybody who filled out the survey. We're definitely getting some answers back there, and the questions there are what's the kind of news that's on your mind. What is it that you feel like it needs to be discussed when we get together here with the fam and have this weekly discussion that we have here on the show? And also this discussion continues on Friends of First Sky Omaha and now the weekly wrap newsletter as well. So definitely get us some feedback on that. And when you get it, go ahead and hit that survey and let us know what are some of the things that are on your mind. So of course, we're going to be talking about some headlines this morning and find out what's going on in your mind by you contributing to the chat, chiming into the chat, like we like to say.
Yeah.
And so we can't wait to hear your discussion. Also, do us a favor and share the show on your page. I saw a lot of people sharing the show on Monday, which for the first, some of you for the first time were doing that. Really appreciate that. I kind of just went down the rabbit hole on how many people were sharing the show on Monday. So especially if you're on Facebook, please do us a favor and share the show. And if you're on YouTube, do us a favor and like and subscribe and hit the bell on the YouTube channel as well. Definitely trying to grow the YouTube audience because we have some things in store for you there. So appreciate everybody joining us this morning. We'll go ahead and jump into some community news. Buddy, what's going on in the community?
Well, starting with the community news, just kind of the count back on what you're saying. It's just kind of dawning on me really right now that really sharing the show is a way to help us fight the algorithm. Putting us in front of people that we would not be able to get in front of, even with us just sharing. On our pages. Of course, we have our networks and our algorithm, and it puts it in front of whoever it decides to put it in front of. But I just noticed, as you were mentioning, there were some new names on Monday, some new names in the chat and things like that. So I would like to, kind of attribute that to people sharing the show, and I appreciate you for that. So echoing what my man Paul B is saying, help us spread the word and build the community. So yeah, we can talk to everybody. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Share the show. So thank you. And yeah, let's go ahead and continue with the thank yous and the shouts outs. First of all, definitely shout out a lot of people, kind of sharing and talking about the brother on The Voice, Dreon.
Yeah, man. I saw his performance. I actually posted something in Friends of First Sky. Somebody who grabbed some of his performance. God damn,
man,
I was surprised. He had some chops.
Yeah. It had the judges, had the judges tuned in and tapped in as well. I think he ended up having all 4 judges on The Voice panel turning around, ultimately picking Snoop. So again, another champion from Omaha that we can root for, man. Definitely shout out to brother Breon for what he's doing with that. Definitely.
Yep.
I think the video's on Friends of, if you want to check out his performance. And if anybody knows the young man, I think he actually has a performance coming up soon with OPA at the Holland.
Okay.
I have to look into that flyer and see if we can get that by the end of the show so people can check him out. But moving along with the community news, and definitely still giving a shout out to our partners at the House of Afros, Capes, and Curls. Actually, speaking of our weekly wrap, they just dropped their newsletter. So if you're not already tapped in with that, definitely check them out. Again, the newsletter for the monthly newsletter, we do ours weekly. They do theirs monthly, I believe. So check them out, man. Tap in. Shout out to the sister, Jade Rogers. And definitely, if you haven't already, tap in and register, get your tickets for AfroCon 2024 coming up right around the corner. That's going down at Metro's Fort campus. We got the particulars for that. What day that is?
October 12th. October 12th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's all day affair at MCC Center for Advancement in Emerging Technologies building, the CATE building, CAET. That's Building 24 over there on the North Campus. So definitely check that out. Get your tickets. Go to afrocon.com, I believe, afrocon.com, I believe it is, and get
Mhm.
your there. It's coming up, man, Saturday, October 12th. So definitely check this out. It's something to actually really see. And also, I want to just shout out her for putting the newsletter out.
Yeah.
It's the era of the newsletter, y'all. We gotta fight these algorithms. So get your news directly from the sources out here, and sign up for the newsletter today as well. Appreciate that.
Yeah, especially like the music industry and stuff. Everybody going directly to consumer. It's coming straight to you, straight to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, tap in, register. Big shout out to the House of Afros, Capes, and Curls. If you haven't gone to any of the past AfroCons, yeah, you go ahead and treat yourself and check it out, man. It's been growing and excited to see what they roll out this year. So yeah, big shout out. And then also shout out to Omaha artist Sky Ree for giving us a shout out and kind of letting the people know we actually Paul and I did not discuss this, but yeah. Just
Yeah, we didn't do it on purpose. We
yeah. Just got the shirt on. Great minds
Hey,
thinking
buddy,
alike.
let's
But
drink. Let's dress together like the Temptations. All
man, it's a uniform. It's a uniform. But yeah, big shout out to Sky Reef for helping us with that again, collabing with us as you see there on the screen. Of course, dope musician as well of both infamy. If you know about both, and shout out to the homie Nate as well. But yeah, definitely dope artists as well, visual artists. So again, this is also going to a great cause, not only supporting First Sky Omaha, but if you purchase a shirt, the OG First Sky tee, as you see on your screen, a portion of those funds also go to Brother Sky Reed to help support artists, and also a portion goes to the Underwood Tenants Group to help with the fight against the against OHA, excuse me, and not just the Underwood towers, but all the towers, really all tenants, even outside of public housing. So big shout out to Brother Hassani Lee as well and the work that he's doing and arming people with the information and knowing that letting them know that they have a way to fight for their rights. So yeah,
uh,
support, and look good and support a good cause. How can you go wrong with that?
amen.
And then before we get out of here, definitely have some RIPs to give out, man. First of all, it's been a tough couple weeks, man. It seems like we're losing the legends left and right, man. Rest in peace to the one and only John Amos, man.
Yeah, bro.
Man,
It was tough. They before they said Cosby was America's dad, they were saying Brother Evans was America's dad on
makes
Good Time.
sense. Good
And
times.
yeah, that was a rough one.
Man.
I definitely thought about this over the years. Me just coming up and thinking about like the influences in my life, and a lot of times when they say I got the black dad energy going on, I can attribute a lot of it to watching this cat
Man.
growing up, man. Just the kind of no nonsense attitude he had on the show, and the no nonsense attitude he had behind the scenes to make sure that they had a black family on TV and not just
Hmm.
a single mom like they was trying to do originally. So yeah,
Man,
shout out
see,
to him.
I wasn't too familiar with that kind of plight. I know about the show Good Times, but wasn't too familiar with the struggles behind the scenes. If I'm not mistaken, was that Florida Evans? Didn't she just pass as well?
Not just passed. She passed a while, some years back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, man. Definitely rest in peace to John Amos. Of course, I don't know if you ever seen My Baby's Daddy. That was
mm.
yeah. Check him out, man. Check him out. It's a comedy film with Eddie Griffin, but he plays,
Oh,
kind of, yeah, he plays the pops in that too, kind of speaking some, speaking some sense into the fellas. Uh, you know.
well, I tell you what, if it ain't Good Times, then it's Miss McDowell's on Coming to
Oh
America.
yeah,
Those are
That's
the 2
classic too.
iconic,
It's
yeah,
classic too. So,
the 2
yeah.
iconic.
Man,
But
and actually, speaking of coming to America, yeah, the dad from there we just lost. I kn-
James Earl
Earl,
Jones.
yeah,
Yep.
James Earl Jones, man. So yeah, and we can go down the list of legends and actors and celebrities that have recently passed. But rest in peace to yet another one, man, brother John Amos.
There you go. Miss Erica Felt in the chat saying that was Esther Roll that spoke up and now. They both did. They both did. And I'm glad they did. Norman Lear didn't really know what was happening on that tip. He had to cede to them saying we want a family on TV. So
Man,
shout out to Miss Erica Felt reminding us about that. appreciate everybody's comments on that. And yeah, man, you're right. It's been a kind of a tough era for losing the legends right now.
Yeah, left and right, it seems like. And then, of course, last but not least, I want to send my heart and condolences and prayers out to locally families that are losing loved ones. Yet another Omaha pedestrian was hit in a hit and run near UNO's campus, I believe, Hanscom Park, and deceased. And again, a lot of deadly accidents going on in the Omaha area. And we kind of laugh and joke about Omaha being, reportedly being put on lists as the worst drivers in the nation. But again, it's sad to see, people losing their lives in such a fashion. Please be careful on the road, y'all. Please, please drive safely. This is something that can impact anybody. Anybody can be on those roads going to and fro. And again, find themselves in a situation. So please be careful. Please keep your head on the swivel. And yeah, get home safely or wherever you're going. So, yeah. And with that, last but not least, did anybody watch the vice presidential debates? Did anybody check that out? I know Mrs. Walls came into town recently to kind of big ups the crowds and get the energies going. Yeah, did anybody check out the debate? I didn't. I'll be honest. I kind of forgot it was coming. So yeah, did anybody check it out? You want to talk about that? Let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like too much to talk about.
Yeah, check it out either.
I saw parts of it. I did like most people did, and just saw parts of it here and there, and then
clip it out.
Watch the Daily Show afterwards for the recap.
Yeah. Right. That part. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody made it, definitely let us know. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Jump into the chat. And probably talk about that. But in the meantime, between time, we got several other things to talk about. Some things making headlines. Again, as always, big shout out to all of you sharing stories on Friends of First Guy Omaha and keeping the conversation going there. And then, as Paul mentioned earlier, please pay attention also to First Guy News, as we will be dropping some articles and keeping things up to date over there as well on Facebook. Again, that's First Guy News on Facebook.
First Guy Omaha News.
Yeah, thank you. First Guy Omaha News on Facebook. But some stories that we've been paying attention to that are updating. Of course, as I mentioned on Monday, the autopsy from the shooting death of the 22-year-old brother, again, at the hands of Omaha police. They have released the details of that autopsy, and it's quite interesting. The article directly acknowledges and responds to what they call rumors that have been swirling around in the community about whether or not the young man was shot in his back, which again they are answering directly. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Also, as Paul mentioned, we will be having Ashlei Spivey on, and I guess it's kind of a Women's Wednesday. We'll be talking to Sister Spivey, but also talking about Sister Jasmine Harris and her announcement that she will be challenging Mean Gene for the seat of mayor in 2025. And says that she's coming with a vision that includes all. So yeah, definitely love to dig more into her vision. This is the second go around for Sister Jasmine. So yeah, we're all excited. Anytime you see a sister running for mayor, yeah, we're here for it. So yeah, big shout out to Sister Jasmine. And then also shout out, seems like Spark CDI is doing some things, talking about the housing conversation. There's actually a program, an apprenticeship program that you might want to check into, man. It seems like they are making some waves, making some headway in the area of housing. Again, 30,000 plus houses needed to fill the gap, to fill the need of housing in Omaha alone. So again, a lot of conversations to be had around that, and hopefully some solutions coming at the back end of that conversation. Also, as Paul mentioned, some national news that we're looking out for, and even international news. Of course, the dock workers have gone on the picket lines. That strike has started, actually kicking off yesterday, about 24 hours ago, actually a little over 24 hours ago. And now people preparing and looking ahead to see what impact will come from this. And actually, again, shout out to Nebraska Examiner, who kind of broke down what this means locally for the Nebraska area as far as the dock workers, again, going on the coast. But what about the middle of the nation? And then, of course, internationally, a few chat chimers have actually been mentioning this about what's going on in Iran. And speaking of drafts, World War III, is it a possibility? We got to talk about it. So again, all that and more, as always, we're here in the first hour delivering the news. If there's anything that you'd like to add to the stories, feel free to do so. And again, if you want to jump into more detail, more conversation, stick around for the second hour where we'll be able to do that. And, let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What's the word, man? What's the word?
Hey, just want to say good morning to everybody that's come on. Of course, we start a hard 7 o'clock to begin the news, but we kind of get on about 10 minutes early, if you don't know, just to say hello and get out our hellos and how you doing with the fam. Jess Parker in the chat saying good morning, appreciate you.
Hey.
Christy Nora in the chat saying good morning, appreciate you very much. Also, we talked a little bit about the debates. Maggie Miller Jenkins says I didn't watch it, but I heard it was pretty tame. Miss Erica Fell says I watched it. One spoke confidently, and one is not a public speaker. It was frustrating to me. Okay. And Jess Parker in the chat says, I felt like an actual debate on policies, not just a platform for name calling and narcissism like the presidential debates have been.
Mm.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit refreshing that there wasn't a whole bunch of name calling and stuff going on. Also, Heather Williams is giving us a good morning. Appreciate that. I saw Black Dynamite earlier giving us a good morning. Appreciate that very much. Definitely come through before 6:50 before the 7 o'clock hour and give us some hellos and how you doing. And we like to talk a little bit about what we want to talk about on the show as well. So I appreciate you guys who joined us this morning. Second hour, 8 o'clock, we'll definitely have more discussion, more of a conversation that's going to be happening, and also anticipate Ashlei Spivey coming up on the show as well. Shout out to her and her campaign for hitting us up, saying, "Hey, yeah, help us get the word out." We appreciate that very much. The support for what it is that she's doing, and also the support for what we're doing from her camp. So we appreciate that. We also very much appreciate Drunk Ship Coffee. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com. Order your coffee now. So it's a family-owned, black-owned company in California that is sourcing beans from one farm in Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. Good roast. Get your grinder ready. Order your bag. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com and check them out. Shout out to them for supporting us. Shout out, especially, we already gave a shout out to him, but shout out to Sky, man. I love the fact that this is a super talented artist. We had a very successful collab with this artist. A lot of people are trying to get down on this shirt. Well, it's a limited run, but you got the link in the chat there. So go ahead and get yours now before they go out. But shout out to Sky just for just supporting the way that he does too, man.
Yeah,
And being a talented artist. Really appreciate that.
yeah. We support the arts, man. We support the arts. So looking forward to doing more of that. But in the meantime, between time, support.
Most def. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you, Chad Chimers, ghost listeners, monitoring spirits.
Everybody.
Share the show. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God. Thanks for joining us. Man, it is already 7:19. If you believe in the concept of time, we appreciate everybody that's joining us in the chat. Starting off the morning, Sarah Phelps gives us some morning brilliant humans. Appreciate that very much. Pops in the chat. We were kind of put the question out there if we wanted people to talk. They wanted to talk about the debate a little bit, and looks like people are talking about it some. So there you go. Pop says, I watched the VP debate. Vance just refused to answer questions like if Trump lost in 2020. That kind of stood out. He was a smooth talker, but said little that was substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very political.
Anthony Rogers Wright is talking to Maggie Miller Jenkins. Walls got his ass handed to him. Vance won the debate hands down and even came across as presidential at times. I don't know if I agree with that one, bro. I don't know if it was that kind of a landslide win there. I think that Vance got caught up on a couple things that he just kind of straight up lied about. His stance on abortion and all kinds of stuff. He kind of they fact checked him, and he kind of lied on some things. So not really sure about who won on that. It was kind of a tame and lame kind of debate. And that's kind of really I want. There's who's paying attention to a vice presidential debate in the first place. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's. I just didn't. I couldn't find myself. I couldn't justify spending the time
to watch it.
entertaining that when we got such bigger things going on in the world right now. Feeling like the threat of World War III and all kinds of stuff going on. It was just small in comparison to me. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate everybody who's joining in on that conversation, and I hope that you are able to chime into the chat here on some subjects that we're going to fire up and start up now. And yeah, we appreciate that, buddy. What's first on the agenda?
Man, so just wanted to give an update, kind of leading with updates on stories that we've been paying attention to, and definitely continuing to keep an eye on the investigation, the case, the situation surrounding the death of 22-year-old Stephen Phipps, who again was shot and killed by Omaha police just days ago in North Omaha, and now family, community members trying to find answers, trying to figure out what exactly happened in this situation. And sometimes with these types of stories, it is interesting. It feels like people are listening to our conversations here on First Guy Omaha, because the question was asked by a chat chimer, and I kind of echoed those same sentiments of whether or not the young man was shot in the back. I felt like what comes out of this autopsy will have a huge impact on how this case plays out. And again, feeling like they're listening to the conversations. The article, this being reported by WOWT Channel 6, saying that they directly are responding to these what they're calling rumors that are related to this incident that they are saying are inaccurate. Again, an excerpt from Saturday night's OPD update. The OPD Public Information Office is the official source of information related to this incident, and saying that we are aware of circulating rumors related to this incident. There have been rumors circulating in the community regarding this incident, specifically claiming that Mr. Phipps was shot in the back by police. However, again, according to the OPD update, the autopsy, which was completed on Monday, confirms that Mr. Phipps did not suffer any injuries to his back or that region of his body. So again, we are still, waiting for the investigation to come out. Police say that 2 officers involved will be formally interviewed. They're on what we call at First Guy paid vacation, kind of a paid leave. Again, not really working, not still on patrol, but still on payroll. OPD did say, though, that they would identify the officer involved once that happens and provide written details about those interviews. OPD also plans to hold a press conference concerning the shooting at 11:30 today. So there will be more information coming out in regards to this situation. But here we are. I think somebody even mentioned almost a month to the day that another young man, another brother, loses his life at the hands of police. And just really unfortunate situation all the way around. But at this point, very educational for us to see how these types of situations are handled and learn about how to maybe even impact and improve, if you will, the process. Again, keeping in mind that Don Klein, who is the county attorney of Douglas County, has a lot of control of that whole situation. Again, this autopsy was overseen, emphasis on overseen, by Don Klein. So again, whether or not how much weight and credibility you put on this, and the fact that they do know that whether or not he was shot in the back is a big question. How much credibility do you put on it? I don't know. You tell me.
Channel 7 put out some points here. OPD autopsy shows Stephen Phipps, 22, was not shot in the back. That's their first thing on the list here as well. Officer involved has not been identified. I believe this came out last night or early this morning. So officers will be interviewed tomorrow. I don't know if that means today or tomorrow. Press conference will be held Wednesday. That's today. So I'm assuming that they'll talk about who the officers were today as well. So everybody's kind of responding to that. WOWT Channel 7. I guess the rumor was the big one.
Man.
They got shot in the back. So yeah. I appreciate everybody who's been paying attention to this as well and been supporting. I saw somebody in the chat earlier talking about the family of the victim of the person who got killed by the police. I guess they spoke out as well. So if there's any information on that, please let us know. Put it in the chat or friends of First Sky Omaha. Appreciate that very much. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add that also there was another person in the vehicle at this traffic stop. that eventually walked away, but has since been apprehended. And I am thinking, just kind of wondering what they have to say, if anything, about what actually happened in that situation. In regards to the Cameron Ford situation, all we have are the police. All we have are the words of the police, and how they want to relay and roll out and detail the story is up to them. We're kind of beholden to what they have to say, but in this situation, there is another person that can speak to their experience. So I am curious about that. But again, as we're learning, watching this, not just feeling for the family that lost a loved one, another young man, another brother in the community killed by the police. Just learning about the process, and
Right.
this is a continued civic lesson. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. What's next in these types of steps? Again, we know that police involved shootings by law have to go to a grand jury. Will Don Klein, relinquish his power in this one and give it to a special prosecutor? Probably not. But here we are again.
Black Dynamite in the chat has fingers crossed there is not a crooked autopsy. Kind of, echoes some ways that a lot of people in the community are feeling there as well. So, yeah, that's a rough one. Also in the chat, Kimmer Snipes is in cuffs that day. The extra person, it was all on the live, which I can't find anymore. Yeah, the live was up, and we haven't been able to find the live too. Earlier, she said on the news last night they said there was no damage to his back, but they said the autopsy wasn't done yet. So now they're saying it is, I suppose, and yeah. So more facts need to come out, of course. We'll check in with Sherman Wells. Also, definitely check out Sherman Wells's page. He's been on it as well. Kind of a man on the man on the street, making sure that he is keeping up with them and the family and the whole case. And yeah, man, month to the day of another shooting of a black man in North Omaha by the hands of the police.
Yep.
And it's rough. Magic Miller Jenkins in the chat is saying, how would we know if it was a skewed autopsy? That's a great question. And can the family afford a private investigator?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a great
Oh,
question.
yeah.
And or private, autopsy. Families can have their own autopsy in these types of situations, and I would almost urge the family to do that. Again, I don't know how much that type of stuff costs, or the family's still dealing with what they're dealing with, but it might be incumbent upon them to go ahead and do that, or rely on what the police say.
There you go. RG in the chat says, "Get Don Klein out the paint." That's his regular statement on this. He seems to come up enough for us to always say, he pretty much needs to be taken, impeached or whatever. However, whatever it is that you got to do, get him out of that seat. And then,
Yeah.
of course, every time we talk about that, we talk about, well, who can take his place, because according to Senator Terrell McKinney, his successor is not going to be any better than that than what he's doing right now. So
Man.
those are all good questions as well. Appreciate that very much. Also, Kimra is saying, yes, I do want to have to learn the process. I don't want to have to learn the process. I don't want this to be a regular thing.
Man. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
it is. Unfortunately, we do have to know about the process, because the alternative of not learning the process and not educating ourselves on the process and equipping ourselves with solutions and ways to impact the process is letting the process be what it is currently. And is that enough? Is that good enough?
Right.
You tell me.
Tony Johnson in the chat, where is the response to all this violence from the likes of Empowerment Network and U-Turn or return or running candidates? Pretty much everybody spoke on it. So I definitely saw it on the Empowerment Network's Facebook page. They put out a letter and put out a statement. So I would highly encourage you to go check that out if you were looking for a statement from them.
Yeah.
Also, Kimra Snipe says that I know that Willie put out a statement and said he was in touch with the family. That's the last I saw on that. Also, go ahead.
Just on that, and it's not just Willie. Like Willie Barney, of course, he, as a few people have mentioned, he did make a statement, but let's understand that the Empowerment Network is a network, like the likes of what Sister Tamika Meese and NOCP, North Omaha Community, I believe, project or program. That's what she does, and she's a part of the Empowerment Network. And I can almost guarantee that she's definitely boots on the roots, working behind the scenes with these families. And making sure that they have what they need. And Willie Barney and the Empowerment Network supports what they, so it's indirect, but yeah, there's help out there, and there's work being done that isn't always broadcasted, which is our job. So
Yeah. Also, Also, a new name I haven't seen, Holly Alexander Smith in the chat. I appreciate you chiming into the chat too. Says, I'd also like to point out, I looked at the gun they found, and the image is very similar to the image they used for Kenneth Jones. The guns are different, but the pictures are very similar. Kind of sus.
Hmm.
Interesting thing interesting
Hmm.
thing to notice. I appreciate you noticing that stuff. Kimmer is saying, I can say that U-turn, be out here knocking doors, hitting the pavement. At least the person I know that works for them. So that's what's up. Appreciate that. Anthony Rogers Wright is saying the senator is not correct. We don't know who his successor would be. That would be up to the people and not a random selection. It kind of made me go back on what I said. I don't believe that the senator actually said that, but he did say that she would be in the running if Don Klein got out. I misspoke on that myself, so I apologize for that. But yes, you're right. They would have to vote that next person in. I believe that a lot of people who wanted to hang on to Don Klein if he did get thrown out would be trying to get her in next. So it would
Yeah.
be something that again we need to look for a candidate that would live up to what it is we need. So appreciate everybody's comments on this. We'll go ahead and move on to the next story. It's already 7:31 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, actually, we can take a quick break and
Yeah.
come back in and jump into the next thing. And I appreciate all your comments. I saw Maggie Miller Jenkins put some things in the chat to be able to discuss in the second hour. So we'll stay tuned with us. Hang with us throughout the whole show. We get to the 8 o'clock hour. We'll have more discussion on some things as well. So with that said, we'll take a quick break and come right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. Buddy the God.
Hey.
Hope you're feeling chill right now. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the Guy. Appreciate everybody that's joining us today on this. What is it? Wednesday, October the 2nd already. We're in that month of October. Everything on TV is scary. It's gonna be like that all
Man.
month long. All these
All
demons on
month
the TV.
long, man.
Just want to give a shout out to Ashlei Spivey, who's going to be on the show a little later. She's giving us the save the dates. And things are coming up, man. Early voting is coming up in just 5 days. Early voting is happening October 7th through November 4th.
It begins.
Man, shout out to Ashlei Spivey for putting this save the date post out. Voter registration deadline October 18th, 2024 by mail, email, fax, or online. Anybody using the fax machine still?
Man.
Absentee because they got you if they do. They got the fax over there.
Hey.
Absentee ballot request deadline is October 25th coming up. Absentee ballot return deadline is November 5th. And then, like we said, early voting starts in 5 days, October 7th. And I'll stretch all the way to November 4th. So definitely keep those dates in mind, man. Definitely check out your status.
Man.
Where your polling place is going to be. All these things have changed because of the fact that they are shuffling things around so much. So make sure you're registered. Make sure you're in the area that you're supposed to be. And all that good stuff. And yeah, get proactive on it, man. We can't leave it behind this time around. So
and remember, this is the first major presidential election with the voter ID situation. So make sure your ID ain't expired, and all this, that, and the third. If you need an ID, you can go to the DMV and get one. Just let them know you need one for voting purposes, and they'll give you one for free. So yeah, make sure you're on top of that as well.
There you go. 7:34 right now. If you believe the concept of time, stay tuned because we have special guest Ashlei Spivey coming on a little bit later in the show. In the meantime, got some more headlines we want to jump into, buddy. What's next on the agenda?
Yeah. Before we get to that, I did want to kind of acknowledge a couple comments that might actually help us transition in between articles. I did want to acknowledge Maggie Miller Jenkins, and she says, "I got a concussion from OPD demanding the footage from Kenneth Jones. The protests aren't enough. We need to get litigation and go after their unions and insurance, make them pay to be racist murderers." is what she said.
Man.
Man, yeah, mouthful with that one. Also, on the issue of litigation, Anthony Rogers Wright says that would depend on the judge, but you don't want an independent autopsy in this case. It would be scrutinized as one-sided. A general autopsy carried out by an independent body would be more than sufficient. And I wanted to acknowledge these because all of these, would kind of be not needed if we had a different mayor. Maybe a different mayor could help with this type of situation. Maybe help clear out this path, and maybe again give the people more voice and more transparency on these types of things. And that's definitely what Jasmine Harris is saying that she's bringing. Again, a vision that includes all is her stance as she announces that she is running for mayor. That's coming out of Omaha World Herald. Again, Jasmine Harris, who did run, I believe, in 2021, is hoping to improve on her run there, showing that when she narrowly missed qualifying for the general election, I believe she lost to RJ Neary by a very, very, very slim margin.
Is she?
Yeah, I don't know, Kimberly, you were in that race. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, if I remember correctly, Jasmine did actually pretty good in her 2021 bid for mayor, and that might be part of the reason why she's back. Again, 44-year-old Harris is the current director of public policy and advocacy at Rise, which is a local nonprofit that helps people re-enter society after serving time in prison. Again, she announced her candidacy in downtown Omaha, becoming the third declared candidate, the mayor in for mayor in the officially nonpartisan race, joining the likes of again Mayor Jean Stothert, who is seeking her fourth election, being the longest serving mayor in Omaha history, and of course Douglas County Treasurer John Ewing also launched his candidacy officially in May. So again, joining the three. How do you feel? How are we feeling about this? How this race is looking up. Again, this won't be on this year's election, but starting early. The election actually is in 2025 for mayor. But again, definitely something that we should all be paying attention to and could dictate the future of Omaha, which again, according to Jasmine, is at a critical point. She says we're facing a critical moment in the fight for our city's future, and we need a mayor with a vision that includes all of us. I'm running to be the mayor for the people of Omaha. So again, just kind of polling. How do the people feel? Are the people excited about this announcement, or does that kind of give you a little more confidence? And maybe Brother Ewing, not trying to split the vote, just trying to get a feel. How are you feeling about this? Tony Johnson kind of answering my question about how she fared in the 2021 election, saying that she got 14% of the vote, which again is a pretty nice split.
Mm. I thought it was more than that. I have to go check it out. RG is also saying, "Get Gene out the paint." He want everybody out the paint. It's time to turn everybody over. That's what's up,
man. Let's clear him out.
Black Dynamite says, "I thought Mean Gene termed out. Is there a term out on them?"
Yeah, I don't know if there is a term out. Term limit for the mayoral seat.
I don't think so because they vote them in. So this is her fourth term, which is like
she's the longest. So if she ain't hit the term yet, then when is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Very good question. Let us know how you feel about Miss Jasmine Harris running. There was a lot of excitement around that. She was at the race or the candidate meetup that Senator Terrell McKinney put on last week, and even though she's not running until 2025, is out early, letting people know what's happening, reminding them of what she's done and everything else that she's done before that. So, okay, looks like I got a little technical difficulty over here. My bad.
Okay, you still loud and clear on this side.
Okay, cool. All right, appreciate that. Maggie Miller Jenkins in the chat says, "I'm very hopeful that she wins, and we see what a black woman can reform with the power to do so."
Yeah.
Also, Marlon Harrison says Omaha mayors don't have term limits, so he's
thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I didn't think so, but thanks for confirming that.
Yeah, a lot of excitement around this. We didn't. We also talked about Senator John Ewing running for mayor as well. His race is underway. He started early too, and we actually talked to him about coming on to the show. So I'm sure we'll have the mayoral candidates, both of them, on the show, and maybe even Gene Stothard. You never know. If he agrees to come on to the show. It's going to be a big election for next year for sure. And every time I think about what the mayor does, my first thought, because of her, goes to how much money the police department gets, and
That part.
all that good stuff. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see and we know John Ewing came from law enforcement as well. Jasmine
Mhm.
Harris is coming from a whole different a whole different viewpoint. So it'd be interesting to see the differences.
Yeah. And
So
it
yep.
looks like the field is growing. Kimra is kind of echoing some of the things that are being mentioned in this article as well. She says, I saw Mike McDonald's commercial. I see he's gearing up. And
Mm,
there's actually a few names that are kind of, floating around that haven't officially put their bid in, but that could come any day now. Not only Senator Mike McDonald, but also Council President Pete Festerson have both been, rumored to be thinking about throwing their hats in the rings, but have not again
wow.
announced their intention. So yeah, the field could be growing, but right now it's a race of three: John Ewing, Gene Stothard, and Jasmine Harris. The battle of the Jays, if you
There it
will.
is. More on this later. Appreciate everybody's comment. 7:41 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's go ahead and jump on to the. Oh, Mama got in the chat. Good morning. I was wondering if you
Hey,
were here. Said this statement is not advocating for Ewing, but he is family member of Ford. Maybe he will make police reform due to personal experience.
maybe,
Interesting.
maybe. If you remember last episode, we did have Peyton Zyla. A shout out to him for dropping in the chat about the independent inspector's office that's been defunct for the last 10
Mm,
years.
mm,
And there has been mention that Jasmine Harris has announced that she will have intentions of bringing that back. So yeah, there's definitely some things to look out for, but yeah, I think
yeah,
maybe the people are ready for a change. I don't know. I'll see. It's kind of hard to unseat Mean Gene. She's been, pushing forward, and especially with all the development going on, Tiff Alley, the Crossroads, the streetcar. It's kind
right.
of her claim to fame. So
Most def.
a lot of
I
work.
like what Stephen Abraham in the chat says. I feel conflicted about Jasmine entering the race. I know both John and Jasmine, and my fear is it splits the minority vote.
Possibly.
Definitely a fear there. Sarah Phelps in the chat is cracking me up. Says reading the comments, pretty sure we should replace city government with First Sky Fam. Right. Who what would you run for? What position would you be in? What about Anthony Rogers Wright, Maggie Miller Jenkins, Tony Johnson? Let us know what positions you would take over if
All
we
right.
were able to replace the whole local government with First Sky Fam. I love it. And Kimber Snipes for mayor.
There
No,
you go.
Kimber Snipes for president is what I meant to say.
There you go. Well, they the chat's already trying to put her in, put her up for Don Bacon.
Right. Yeah. I hear that. Yeah, right on, man. Appreciate everybody talking about this. This is the season of the elections, and there's
Oh yeah.
a lot to talk about here as far as locals concerned. But shout out to Jasmine for still doing the good work. She when I think of her, I think of she was kind of running for mayor and been in the game for as long as I've been doing stuff at since the Mine and Soul days. She's
Mhm.
been very consistent with what it is that she's been trying to do. And then when she on races that she didn't win, she went right back in the community, and she never left the community in the first place. She's
Yeah.
been doing community work this whole time, working to do the same stuff she'd be doing if she was elected. So yeah, I was pretty excited that was the announcement that came there myself. So that's what's going on. We'll go ahead and move on to the next story here before we get with our special guest. We have special guest Ashlei Spivey. Speaking of women running, coming into the
Man.
show here pretty shortly. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump onto that so we can make sure that we got some enough time and space for her. Also, stay tuned for the 8 o'clock hour. The second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning is where we'll have a lot more discussion, and we appreciate everybody's comments. Now we'll definitely revisit some of these things after the 8 o'clock hour. In the meantime, between time, what's next on the agenda, buddy?
Man, well, we'll kind of pick up our housing conversation a little bit more in the second hour, but I do kind of want to keep it, as we prepare for our next guest in the realm of women running for office and things like that, and go from one Harris to another. Talking about the Harris in Washington, which a lot of people are already calling out. That woman says Harris in Omaha and Harris in Washington. And yeah, there's an article. Again, we're constantly talking about housing, and there's an article from the Nebraska Examiner that's actually looking at how both Harris and Trump are, approaching the housing situation.
Mm,
And we'll be getting into a little later on some of the programs coming out locally. But yeah, just again looking at from one Harris to the other, what's going on as far as housing, a big issue. A lot of people still still struggling, in the midst of everything that's going on, especially with the strike that's happening. The housing, market may be impacted even more, knowing that the supply chain is already been out the roof. Again, as Nebraska Examiner opens up the article, as the cost and supply of housing remain at the top issues for voters, both presidential and candidates have put forth plans to tackle the crisis in hopes of courting voters ahead of the November 5th election. Of course, while housing is typically handled on the local level, which I actually would love to speak to Sister Ashlei Spivey about her ideas on housing when she comes on the national level, where the housing supply is tight and rents continue to skyrocket across the country, putting increased pressure on the federal government to help. So again, the question is, what is Harris or Trump going to do to answer that call? And Harris, for her plan is for a construction of 3 million homes in the next 4 years. The United States has a shortage of about 3.8 million homes for sale and rent. So it's not just rental, but also for sale as well, according to an estimate from Freddie Mac in 2021. Additionally, homelessness has hit a record high of about 653,000 since January of last year, and a record high of about 22.4 million renter households have spent more than 30%, which, as we have come to know and learn, is kind of the mark or the definition of what they're calling affordable housing. But again, 22.4 million renters are paying more than that. Again, up from 2 million since 2019. So again, trends going in the wrong direction. One of Harris's plans, Trump has proposed to build multifamily housing and has instead thrown his support behind single family zoning. And as a kind of a turn of about face, such land use regulation is conducted by local government bodies, not the federal government, though the federal government could influence it, which we have seen with some HUD things recently. Also, election forecasters have predicted that Democrats will regain control of the U.S. House, but Republicans are poised to win the Senate, which means that any housing proposals will have to be overwhelmingly bipartisan, which again, you can decide for yourselves which president you feel like is more likely to get bipartisan support. Many of Harris's policies, according to the article, will rely on cooperation from Congress, as historically the federal government has limited tools to addressing housing shortages. So again, a lot of promises being made. Harris is promising about 25,000 down, which is something that we have talked about here on the show recently. A lot of people feeling like that's not enough. But what are we hearing from Trump? Not too much. And what are we hearing from other candidates? What solutions are out there for housing? Again, shout out to Nebraska Examiner. You kind of look through this a little more, and as I mentioned a little later on, actually, let's go ahead and dive into it now. As far as what Spark CDI is doing locally, because the question for me is not necessarily which candidate or what their plans are, but how are they supporting what's already happening? It seems like Spark CDI is definitely pushing forward. Again, front porch has definitely made some moves and are already receiving federal grants and funds to the tunes of millions. But yeah, Spark CDI just actually launched their apprentice program. So if anybody is interested in becoming a developer, that is something that Spark CDI is pushing forward. And hopefully, if Harris or Trump, does win and those funds from the federal government do start to trickle down, will there be people prepared in the community to start developing? Again, we've been talking about brother Don Curry, who has projects recently through the land bank, but we need more. We need more Don Currys. We need more of what we're seeing from the Spark CDI's developer apprenticeship program. One second. Make sure I can pull that up. So yes, again, it's called Spark CDI's co-development apprenticeship or CODA program, which is a sort of next level initiative that will offer additional guidance and actual project site and investment opportunities that can give budding developers more of a running start, something that we haven't seen, especially developers of color, getting those types of resources in the past. And again, Spark's CEO Buey Ray Tutt calls on one of their real estate nonprofit academy attendees, brother Donnell Brown, kind of a star product of Spark CDI, and his aim is to launch homegrown developers that can help revitalize their communities with much needed housing. So again, shout out to Spark CDI. Man, we kind of had some conversations with the Spark crew. I had Bree Full on, who also works for Spark CDI outside of her school board, work. But definitely love to learn more from them, and kind of interested in anybody get involved with the Spark CDI developer program. Did anybody check that out?
Is anybody working to be developers or own any land or houses that they're trying to navigate? What about you as a renter? You having
Yeah.
trouble renting? I know that my rent's gone up a few $100s. It's made it tough for me personally. A lot of these things are constant. We've been talking about space is the place for long time, and that really is us trying to keep an eye on what's going on with housing, and it seems to be getting worse. Just continues to get worse. Mama God in the chat is saying, does Nebraska have pretty strict zoning and construction laws that will make it difficult to build for Harris' plan? I hope won't let that stop us if she wins. Nebraska has very limited government land for Trump plan. So we're always looking at that kind of big scale stuff too, like what big plans that are coming in, what's going to happen there. On some bigger ideas here on the housing stuff, I've saw articles where there's we never really talk about this too much, but Blackwater uh,
Yeah.
is a is a seriously huge corporation that is buying up so many houses. It's crazy, and it's changing the landscape of that. And I just saw Robert Smith, which is one of the black billionaires in America that had just teamed up with them on a project, and even buying more stuff locally. Here we talk a lot about Berkshire Hathaway buying up a lot of land, a lot of houses.
Yeah.
We can't help but think about how this contributes to all these things as well. Just people being able to afford having a place to live or find a place to live. And you said Freddie Mac earlier. I was like, Freddie still macking? I
Man.
ain't heard about them, and is Fannie still maying too?
Yeah, man.
I ain't heard nothing from them in a minute. Are they even giving out loans anymore? I know that they got bailed out back in the crisis after
Hmm.
2008 crisis. They also been paying a lot of money back from that bailout as well. But and then got real strict they said we're going to not do this predatory lending anymore for sure.
Man.
So they got real strict on how much you had to get in there to do anything at all when it came to buying a house. So yeah, man, that's really kind of the question. I appreciate you guys in the comments having a conversation about that. RG says I still remember Robert Wagner posting about Vargas appearing in Juneteenth. You guys are talking about Vargas and bacon. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Anthony Rogers Wright says, right, developers are not the answer. Capitalism is capitalism, whether it's in blackface or whiteface. Until the Faircloth Amendment is repealed, housing will be a commodity instead of a human right.
Mm.
This Faircloth he's talking about, he talked about a little bit earlier in the chat. Let's see where he says, keep an eye. Wait, that's not it. He says, in general, the
Man.
reason why Trump is in the running is because of Clintonian policies like NAFTA. He says people need to know that HUD is not even allowed to build public housing anymore. Guess who made that happen? Yep, a Democrat, Bill Clinton, basically killed HUD when he signed the Faircloth Amendment. So give us
Okay.
a little background on that. Yeah, that's something that we can kind of get into definitely and dig into and find out a little bit more about. But yeah, there's so many factors, man, when it comes to this. There's so many factors when it comes to housing, and just the difficulty in getting in anything, buying anything, and renting anything is it's all crazy. Tony Johnson says down payment sounds good, but where are the North Omaha jobs paying wages to afford home ownership in North Omaha?
Mm.
We could talk about it from that end too.
Yeah.
Talk about it from that end too. Where's the jobs that can pay for quote unquote affordable housing? And is housing out of control where you shouldn't even have to, you shouldn't, it has to come down whether or not you have a good paying job or not. Because I think a lot of people are feeling that way in a big way. So
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely out of control. Kind of going back to what you're saying as far as the BlackRock situation or Blackwater. I think
is
it's
it Black
BlackRock.
Rock?
I think it's BlackRock
Yeah, yeah.
situation. And from what I'm hearing, we're trending in the direction of, they're saying people are gonna own nothing. Like you're just gonna be renting and paying subscriptions and for everything.
Right.
Everything, housing, food, everything. So yeah, is is that the direction we want to go? Because on the back end of that, they're saying that you're going to be happy about it. You're going to own nothing and be happy about it. It's kind of the headline. But is that where we want to go? And if not, what can we do about it?
Very true. Very true. Thanks for all your comments. Definitely need to keep an eye on what's going on with the space. Space is the
Man,
place.
yeah,
What is your space? What is this? What's going on in North Omaha? Tony Johnson in the chat says North Omaha is a huge renters market. Buying a house will require you to move out of North Omaha or wait years for new development in tight areas. Very little open land in North Omaha. I do see
yeah,
a lot of signs out, man, but it's also a bad market. I see a lot of signs out for houses for sale, but it's also a really tough market. Everything seems to be like double what it was a few years back.
man,
Can you even afford it? Can you even afford it?
man.
Miss Erica Phelps says HUD still funds building of scattered site houses. We have seen some HUD houses go up around Northo here and there too, but yeah, it's still very limited and most people that I know are renting, and that's
Yeah.
just what it is, and having a hard time finding places to rent, especially affordable ones. So yeah, that's that's something that something that's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna get. It might get worse before it gets better. I don't even see how it's gonna get better. And I'm listening to what a lot of the candidates running are saying they're gonna do about it too, and it don't seem like enough to me. It doesn't seem like enough. It feels like if we're talking presidential, it feels like Trump is on the side of let's buy up everything. And even though Kamala Harris is talking about some programs and things like that, it just
Hmm.
doesn't feel like it's enough.
Yeah, yeah. Again, $25,000 down payment assistance program that she says will benefit an estimated 4 million first-time home buyers. But if to your point, if the market continues going in the direction that it goes, is 25,000 going to be enough? Or once you pay that 25,000 down payment, then that family is on the hook for that mortgage. Is that something they can keep up with?
Right. Mama God says 210 apartment units going up next year across the street from Northampton Arms next year. Should be mixed income housing.
Should be.
Should be. Also, 75 North has a bunch of stuff coming up as well that they were known for doing the mixed income housing. Is what they did over there on at the Highlander. They're going to be doing down the street on 30th Street and a couple other places. So, that's something to look out for too. Is this sliding scale that they have according to your income? There's a lot of information you got to give them for your income, your
Hmm.
credit report, your everything in order to get into these places in the first place. But some of them are doing the sliding scale thing. Everybody's got these little temporary small solutions. I feel like, and it doesn't feel like it's enough.
But I will point out, one solution is, of course, the thing is we can't avoid the city is going to get developed. We're going to see these apartment complexes. We're going to see somebody's going to develop this stuff, and somebody's going to figure it out. But will it be, the purpose built, major multi-million national corporations, like who's behind 75 North, which I believe is purpose built, which is a Buffett backed situation that's also developing down here in Atlanta and many other places across the nation. Also, Canopy South is another one of those major corporations. They're going to develop and they're going to get the funds, but will those funds go back into the community? That's not the case, or I guess that will be the case. What Spark is doing. So again, some people skeptical about how people can become developers and who's trying to become a developer. But I would urge people to look into what Spark is doing as far as some of the opportunities for local people to become developers, because there's local connection. You have more connection to the families. You might not be as greedy and more as likely as we've seen with some of these national corporations and going up on rent prices. And then also that those funds that those developers make come back into the community, at least hopefully
Yeah.
but there's more of an opportunity when it's local developers versus these major corporations.
Yeah, we had Don Curry on
Yep.
a couple months back that really kind of opened my eyes to that too. Somebody said something about the land bank only going to developers, and if that's the case, then you can consider Don Curry now a developer. He
Hmm.
doesn't have a 3-story building that he's putting up, and another one coming. But I don't mind these developers that are doing stuff in the neighborhoods that they're from, especially and doing stuff in spaces around North Omaha. The best they can. That's different from a multi-million-dollar conglomerate coming in from Kansas
Hmm.
buying up parts of the street that my family lives on, so
Right.
so yeah, and there's a way to, like you said, like Buddy's saying, look into it because there is a way that you can be a part of being a local developer and not stigmatize the word developer as these huge multi-million dollar conglomerates coming in doing it. RG in the chat said 2020 last big election cycle was great year. to buy a house in North Omaha. That's when I bought mine. We're not having that kind of year this time around. I can say that for sure. Kimber Snipes says Sundiata is creating a program for young people in Southside Terrace, teaching them trade skills so that they can get on to the contracting that will be necessary for the development. This is another angle
Nice.
that we really need to be talking about. Shout out to Sundiata. We don't talk about him and the work that he's doing enough, for real.
Yeah.
And they actually need to have him on the show to talk about some of the stuff he's doing. But yes, really, really heavy in construction and really an advocate for us being the ones that do the construction if they're going to be doing this development out here too. So that's what's up. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
People that are reaching out and helping that situation.
Even if there is a major corporation developing, like, yeah, let's train ourselves to seek opportunity, because there is opportunity out there. Let's just prepare ourselves and take advantage of it.
There you go. We'll prepare ourselves for the second hour. It is 8 o'clock right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
We're gonna take a break and come right back. And shout out to Ashlei Spivey that's gonna be on here shortly. So stay tuned for her and get your questions ready for her. I know that there was a question earlier that was how she's that. Well, no, we were talking about Jasmine Harris, how she's running. We'll definitely try to get Jasmine Harris on and answer some questions, ask her directly as we do in the chat. Speaking to each other as if we were speaking to each other face to face. We can ask those questions. But we got a lot of questions coming up for Ashlei Spivey and her run and what's going on. So stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely come back and jump into the second hour with some conversation. You guys are really going off in the chat. Appreciate that very much. I appreciate everybody that shared the show. Please continue to do that if you would. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be Buddy the God. Stay tuned.
Hey, don't touch nothing.
Shout out to Pops. Paul B. on free. Definitely check out his page. He's got a couple drops as well. They've been dropping music left and right, man. I'm inspired. Where's my albums at?
There you go. Where they at, Paul? Where they at?
Where they at? Welcome back. It is second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
This is where we loosen up a little bit and start having a little bit more conversation based on some of the stories and things that we were talking about a little earlier today. Definitely we'll go back through the chat and try to pull some things out and let us know what's on your mind. We'll definitely continue to talk about it. I appreciate that very much. I'm seeing some new names in the chat. And some returning names that I haven't seen in a while. So I appreciate everybody who's jumping in. I see how Holly Alexander Smith is saying it's just another way to divide people when they raise the rent and come up with outrageous rules while not taking care of the homeless population as well as their own renters. It causes more divide. The country loves dividing people. I hope this makes sense. I haven't slept at all.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We're all sipping coffee, trying to wake up this morning as well. So that's what's up. But yeah, I agree. We haven't really talked about that too much either. The homeless situation that's going on out here. They're leaning towards more like elderly people being homeless. Those are some tough things going on right now for sure.
Yeah. So shout out to Cameron actually for dropping that. There's a report that she dropped on Friends of that kind of talks about that. The trend of again homeless populations going towards like you said, the more elderly brothers and sisters, and how that can kind of cause a health crisis. So
man, that was you're right. Like that was what stood out to me. You don't really think about it like that. It's already a tough thought to think about your elderly population being homeless in the first place. And but what does that mean for the health? That is going to spur a health crisis in a big way if there's more elderly people out on the street like that. That's just the natural thing that's going to happen. RG, he didn't changed up on the paint this time. Right, said get Kimmer in the paint for Congress.
swapping them out. Yeah, they
All right.
asked her earlier in the chat if they wrote Kimmer in, will she, accept the nomination? She says if it's in the cards, hey. So yeah, if you're not happy with Vargas, not happy with Bacon, there's an answer, I guess.
There you go. We're talking about Vargas and Bacon earlier. Of course, Anthony Rogers Wright is always on get Tony Vargas out of here, but does that mean Bacon is the person to be jumping in?
Man.
Imagine Miller Jenkins saying, "Shout out to Drunk Shit for keeping us going."
Hey.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only one of the only legal drugs we have out here, caffeine, coffee.
Man.
Is what
Yeah,
it
when they
is.
get on the tea, let me know.
Yeah. Tea's coming.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Appreciate that. I don't even know where to start. You guys are going hard in the paint on the chat, and so I appreciate everybody who's jumping in and having some discussion here. What's standing out to you, buddy?
I was going back to the clock. I'm sorry, you kind of caught me.
Oh, my
bad. Yeah, we do have a few more stories just kind of waiting in the wings.
Okay.
Also waiting on a guest. So, kind of
Yeah, the
playing it by
setup
ear.
our guest coming up. Right, you're right.
Yeah, kind of playing it by ear, seeing what's going on. I did want to dive into someone actually mentioned earlier as far as this election draft situation, and
Yeah, we got
yeah, a lot of people still talking about the election. Kind of in various angles, things on a lot of people's minds, and yeah, this election draft is something that I'm not familiar with. I haven't heard about it, but yeah, it's something we should all look out for and be aware of, and be maybe even ready for. If it comes to your door, you're gonna have to answer the call.
right.
Yeah, and if you don't, according to the article, it's a misdemeanor. This is coming from NPR, saying that apparently election officials in the state of Nebraska can legally draft poll workers, which might in some cases be hard to find, especially when you have very divisive, intense elections, like when we're kind of preparing for. You could get drafted. You could get the call. Apparently, that was the case for Joe Roseri, who, again, NPR says got the call. And right now, he works at the customer service desk for Douglas County Election Commission. But on election day, he will be a district supervisor. Ricari is currently a volunteer, but he didn't start out as one. Apparently, he was drafted for this position. He was actually drafted when his children were little. But deferred until they were old enough to drive themselves home from school. So there's one note. Again, if you are drafted, apparently you can defer this for some time. Finding poll workers is apparently a regular challenge for election officials, but Nebraska has a unique solution, again, allowing counties to draft workers to fill needs. This will come from the Secretary of State's office, who says it's only aware of 2 Nebraska counties that are using poll worker drafts this election, and Omaha's Douglas County, and just south of it, Sarpy County. So yeah, some counties that you all might find yourselves in are the ones using this draft process. Again, Douglas and Sarpy County. In Douglas, in particular, any registered voter is eligible and may receive a letter in the mail requiring them to serve. Even though even though it has been used for years, Douglas County Election Commissioner Brian Cruz has says that many voters aren't familiar with the draft and are actually skeptical when they receive the letter. So, again, if you did receive a letter, it's not fake. This is a real thing. Again, Douglas and Sarpy counties are using the draft, and if you don't respond to that, apparently it's a misdemeanor. Again, after if a draftee doesn't show up or doesn't answer the letter, they could face a misdemeanor charge. In recent years, about half of the county's 3,000 general election workers actually have been drafted. So this is something that they use often, which is unlike rest of the country. Even if the situation is somewhat recovered from a nationwide election shortage during the peak of COVID, for instance, a national program manager for the group Power the Polls is saying, I would say generally speaking, about 40% of jurisdictions were actually in touch, have been like actually saying we're good. So there is a shortage of poll workers. People don't send us more, or please don't send us more people, because they'll just be disappointed. Another 40% are in desperate need of more people. So there is a shortage, particularly in Douglas County, and especially the age group. Apparently, they are looking for a more diverse group. They say the general age of the election workers are over 70 years old. So, and which you can kind of imagine a lot of retirees having the time to be able to do that. But again, even if you're not a retiree and you get that letter, you're gonna have to answer the call.
I would have done like some people in the chat are saying and been like, this letter ain't real. That's I would have got that letter and been like, this letter's not real. What did you say the penalty was before you don't answer?
A misdemeanor. They don't say, if there's a it doesn't necessarily say whether there's a charge or time. You got to spend 30 days behind bars or you got to have a fee, but you will be slapped with a misdemeanor.
It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. This has been a thing for a while. That's what hit me about the article. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put in the chat our First Guy Omaha news page. Definitely check that out. I put that in there with a couple comments because I was really shocked when I read this article. It was national. I was looking at national news and it was like Nebraska might draft you. Say what? Yeah, this is crazy. It sounds crazy, but it definitely happens. I think that we, like you said, we probably got enough poll workers, people volunteering, but man, can you imagine you getting a letter? Who just said it? I would have thought it was a joke. I would have thought it was a scam.
Did anybody receive this letter?
Jess Parker said, that's what I was about to say. If I ever received that letter, I would have automatically assumed it was a scam and disregarded it. Totally.
And you could have got hit with a misdemeanor.
Man.
So,
that's rough.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah, now you know. Check your mail.
Yeah, man.
That's all I will say about that. I do want to go back real quick before we move on to a comment. I mentioned that Anthony Rogers Wright has been very vocal about Tony Vargas. I wanted to switch, and I said that because I wanted you to say, well, Tony Vargas is running against Don Bacon. What do you have to say about Don Bacon? At this point now, we already know that you're against Tony Vargas for all the reasons, and you just said it again, but you said it in a way that I got a comment on. He says, again, Tony Vargas cannot be trusted. He's affiliated with a super PAC that targets black lawmakers like Jamal Bowen and Cori Bush. Hard pass for that alone. First of all, does that mean hard pass on voting for Tony Vargas or you voting for Bacon? Second of all, he's lying about hitting those jump shots in last week's commercial. I want to see him take 5 shots in real time. I didn't read that all right the first time. So I apologize for that, but now I get what you're saying on that. But yeah. Again, we are bringing out some things that is going on with Tony with Tony Vargas for sure. Not much is being mentioned about what's going on with Don Bacon, except that Don Bacon comes to North Omaha a lot. What's he standing on? What's his policies? What super PAC is he running from? And if there's so much talk about what we're not going to do with people like Tony Vargas, then what are we going to do?
Yeah, solutions.
Appreciate you got a whole show where you can tell people what it is, that all the reasons why you feel like you feel on it. And I appreciate you coming on this show and saying that too. But we've heard you many about Tony Vargas and why we should not be voting for him, why he's a scam, so on and so forth. We got to speak on Bacon, man, because if that's what we're telling people, then we're saying, okay, so what's your alternative here? I mean, it's just the next progression of the thought. We don't stick on one thought like that. The next progression of the thought is, if not Tony Vargas, then who? And then I think it would behoove us to really dive into what getting to know Don Bacon as well on that tip. Just because he comes to North Omaha doesn't mean we know what he's standing on, who's paying him, or anything that's going on. So we definitely need to talk about that more. So I appreciate that. If anybody has any information, who's been studying and been on that, Don Bacon came onto the show on Mind and Soul back in the radio days, back in the day, which I thought was it was interesting of him to come on, and he really didn't say much when he came on. He was very with the politicians speak and couldn't get much out of him on a lot of the stuff that happens. Man, he came on a couple times, and of course he's always on 95.7 The Boss. Not always, but he's been on 95.7 The Boss a lot, because he's because William King over there is bringing him on the show and letting him speak on what he's on. He reaches out all the time. Like I said, he almost tried to bully us about coming on once.
Man,
his aides were like, Bacon said he wants to come on the show. Okay, yeah, we'll find a date. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get a date. They hit us back before we get him a date. He said he wanted to be on the show. I was like, look, man. So yeah, he's always in North Omaha, true, but what's he standing on? Let's definitely check that out. I see Sean McCarthy in the chat as well. I appreciate you coming through. So I used to work at a ballot tabulating company where we got data about poll workers. Stunning fact: the average age of a poll worker was somewhere around 75.
Yeah.
That's what we said on that.
Yeah. So.
Rough. Also, Michael Watts in the chat says, as much as people were concerned with voter fraud in Nebraska, you would think it would be a wait list of people signing up.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what kind of people? You know what I mean? Like, especially the whole voter fraud situation. Yeah. What kind of
Somebody
people?
asked earlier, do you get paid for that? I don't believe you get paid if you get drafted.
No.
No, you just got to take that time to go down there and do the poll work.
Yeah.
So you just drafted for free labor.
I mean, kind of like you mentioned, is similar to jury duty. Like, it's civic duty. Just because you're not an elected official don't mean you don't have civic responsibilities. Like, that's part of being a citizen.
There you go. Anthony Rogers Wright came back one line. Bacon comes from pigs. That's what I think of him. Okay.
Okay.
Says the real question is why Bacon is getting a number of black votes. It is because he shows up. Does he make promises? I would like to know how he keeps pulling it off. Now, these are some great questions. I would love to know that myself. And it can't just be because he shows up to the black community, because I don't think we're as much as we're trying to get the black community to vote, register and vote in the first place. I don't feel like people are doing it just because Don Bacon came to town and came into the hood and had some conversations. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. Kimmer Snipes says Don Bacon met with one Omaha. He shows up. Does that translate to votes though? She says, not saying I'm voting for him. Those are separate issues. Okay, yeah, he is in the seat right now too. That's the other thing. He comes. He is there work that he's supposed to be doing in our area, since he is in the seat right now.
I guess that's a point.
Heather Williams says Bacon comes around when it's time to get votes or a parade.
Well, okay. I mean, if you pay attention to anything that Bill King is saying, it's more than just him showing up. Bill King has said that he's financially supported 95.7 The Boss, and by proxy financially supporting the black community, because there's a lot of people in our community that listens to 95.7 The Boss and supports what 95.7 The Boss is doing. So there is that. Again, I don't know. I really don't know about Bacon's track record, but as to why he continuously gets the votes that he gets, it's some of that stuff. It's all of those things and then some.
And you guys are saying he's getting it from us, but the black community is voting for him overwhelmingly. Matthew Miller Jenkins says also Bacon is the same song and dance now. Vargas is trying a new spin with genocidal backing. New spin. Also, Tony Johnson is talking about Bacon, says he seems to be providing more on accomplishments in his position. Tony Vargas' campaign comes across as more fundraising and national script with no connection to Nebraska issues. Yeah, you guys are getting that from that. I'm getting I know where Tony Vargas is coming from. Like I'm not confused about like what the issues he's running on. Maybe just because we know him. He's been on the show, we know him. I think about that story of his father working in the packing houses, and some of the motivations he has. I don't know. I don't know what I know that Don Bacon. I know that Bacon comes around a lot. I know that he's kind of public, like he's done a lot of saying one thing and doing something else. Definitely with the Republican script. I know about who who backs him, but I don't really know too much about where he's coming from and why he's doing what he's doing. Kind of feels like career politician type of thing. A lot of questions there. RG in the chat says the old trick before social media was to show face, and that's the outdated playbook because Bacon is following. That's interesting. Does it matter though that he comes around? Is it better than a Tony Vargas commercial, which runs all the time? Like he's put a lot.
Honestly, I would say yes. I would say that plays a big part in how voters feel about you. And let's just be honest, that's what this is about. It's about feelings. It's about feelings. Yeah. Let's be honest. This is what this is about.
Man, I'm tripping, bro. I'm tripping. I'm lost track of the time. I got our guest waiting in the wings. I'm just talking. Oh, man. I apologize for this, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, Ashlei Spivey in the chat. So sorry that I left you hanging out there like that. My bad.
It's okay. It gives me a little extra time to get the baby settled and all the stuff. So,
man,
I got caught up in the chat like I'm going to encourage you not to do while we're talking.
Well, I've been scrolling the chat while I was waiting. So,
yeah, Yeah, a lot of good conversations. A lot of good conversations happening. But thank you for joining us, taking the time out of obviously mommy duties and busy schedules
Yeah.
again.
I love hanging out with y'all. So y'all my people. So I love to be able to come on and talk all the things. And, I'm really excited that folks are really engaged in this election cycle. So folks
Yeah.
are watching and have, ideas and thoughts. So that's great. That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want reactions. You want
Where
people to
else
be
is this
engaged.
happening on a regular basis? So I feel lucky to just to be having these cats in the chat and having this conversation on a regular
Oh yeah.
basis. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
love it. Well, thank you. I had a good time with you knocking doors. I was telling everybody that's the first time I ever went out on a door knocking campaign.
I
Uh,
know.
one of
You
the
got
reasons
some steps in.
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons why I couldn't find you at first is because I was looking for an entourage. To be honest with you, I was like, there's some where's the 20 people out here and some signs. She was walking by herself, y'all. She was
Making it
Yeah.
happen.
I
lonely.
think a lot of volunteers don't like to canvas, honestly. They don't like to knock
Mm.
doors. So you'll have a lot of people that will do postcards or maybe phone calls or text banking. But I go out, like I said, then every day by myself, 2 to 3 hours. My husband can't go because he's home with the kids helping me. And so I'm just out and, it was yesterday. So I was in the same area that
Mhm.
we knocked, Paul, and this Black lady, I knocked her door and she was like, yes, excited to vote for me, said I can put a sign out. And then she came back out and was like, you need some pepper spray for these dogs because you can't be
Mm.
out here by yourself and these dogs be running wild. So then she gave me some dog mace. So now I have that.
Okay, well, yeah, you got to be careful out there on the trail, especially by yourself. But
Yeah.
hopefully it is making a difference. Like you said, people are responding. You're getting people excited about your campaign.
Yeah.
People running, going right into what we were just talking about. When you came on, as far as the difference that it makes, as far as showing
Yeah.
face, being present. Can you kind of
Absolutely.
speak to that a little more, like the impact that
Yeah.
you feel canvassing has had on your campaign?
Yeah, I mean, people really respect that when candidates are out doing the work themselves. And so I tell people I do have paid canvassers, I do have volunteers that help me, but I make it a point every day since I put my name in the race in the primary. I have knocked my own doors literally every single day. And so I'm out 2 to 3 hours, I'm meeting voters, I'm having hard conversations. Some voters don't align to my
Mhm.
policy priorities and what I would hope to see. And I still knock their doors. Like I still have that conversation. And I think that's important because regardless, you're not going to 100% be aligned to an elected official and you're going to represent everyone. Like I'm going to represent everyone in the district. And so I really want to make sure folks understand my approach, who I am, what does that look like? So that's important for me, just being and coming from community organizing, right? Like
Mhm.
being in community, even if it's hard conversations, super alignment, like you have to sit in that. And so, knocking doors is part of my favorite thing because you get to really see and hear from the people that you want to represent.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of curious from those conversations, have you had any changes on policy or anybody kind of open your eyes to some things on policies? Like I didn't really think about that policy from that angle before.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things has been around our aging population in the district. So I'm a caregiver for my grandmother and she's still pretty independent, but I've learned more about navigating Medicare and like what she needs being on a fixed income. So like that I had a perspective and I had a part of my platform that was around healthcare access expansion for seniors, but being able to knock doors and seeing how some of our seniors are living, like the lack of support with help with making sure that their like actual homes are safe and they're able to age in place with dignity. Like I didn't realize so many people were struggling with that. And there's so many, there's some nonprofits that do that work, right? Like that will help put in safety elements or help rebuild parts of that home to keep it up and that housing stock, but that's not the case for everyone. And so being able to like talk to a lot more seniors around just their experience and what they're needing has made me really understand like, okay, we need affordable housing that's assisted living. We
Yeah.
need housing where people can age in place with dignity and has all the things that they need. We need to look at our services from Social Security to if they have a pension to how they access, food stamps, EBT, whatever y'all call it now, like how can we make sure that the people that are most vulnerable and need our support actually get it in a way that allows them to, again, still have a high quality of life. And so being with that population has really just made me like, okay, somebody needs to make sure we care about y'all in a way that's super intentional.
Yeah, definitely.
Christy Nor in the chat says, "Folks knocking doors is the most powerful way to persuade voters." We just talked about Don Bacon, his being out here as much as he is, showing face. You agree though? Showing face and talking to folks face to face is the best way to really kind of get to know. And you've been door knocking since you said you were running. You've been doing this
in the primary, every day. And so, again, I come from a community organizing background. So the work that I do in my day-to-day is in community. And so and it holds you accountable in a very different way, right? And I think elected officials, that's the difference between elected officials and politicians, right? So elected officials are really conduits of the people. Like their job is service-based. So if I'm doing a service on behalf of you, I'm going to still be in community with you. Versus if I have my own agenda around power and influence, then, my political agenda is going to look and my approach is going to match that. And so, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get in the race is like, I wanted to make sure that I can be a conduit for my community, that the voices of everyday folks, working families are really represented like mine. And that has not always been the case when you look at our elected officials, especially in Lincoln. And so I, got in and I'm like, I'm going to be committed to the same principles that I live by every day. And so I've done family fun days where my husband has brought out the food trailer. We've had games for the kids and just a chance to get to know me. During the storms, I bought food at Ramona's and talked to people there that were navigating the loss of electricity. I've had 3 town halls, 1 for small businesses, 2 for just residents in District 13. And so I'm committed to, once I'm elected, still doing that, having town halls, sending out newsletters. Like I give people my cell phone, for better or for worse. They text me, call me. But again, I want people to feel like, okay, like I know Ashlei. I don't have to guess how she's going to vote, or I didn't like what Ashlei did and I could actually talk to her about it. And we had that conversation, so I want to keep that no matter what.
But now I know why I ain't running, because ain't nobody don't call me on my cell phone.
I mean, you can set boundaries. Like you could put on your do not disturb after 9 o'clock. Like you don't have to answer, but
But if you like me, you never take the do not disturb off. So
yeah, that part.
I do understand that life too.
Miss Erica Fell says, "I'll knock with you in Cunningham Lake. You got somebody who's gonna knock with you, so that's what's up."
Okay, Miss Erica. Yeah, I actually just was in Lake Cunningham maybe a week ago, so I'll cut some new turf and I'll send you a message so we can go knocking.
Okay. Magic Miller Jenkins is asking in the chat, "I'd love to know how you push back against criminalizing being unhoused." That's a good question.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. And I think a part of the role of state government, because so my district, for folks that aren't unfamiliar where I'm running, is District 13. So that's where Justin Wayne is a current senator. He's terming out. So it's north, east, and west Omaha. Think like 30th and Ames, and you keep going north. And it follows Sorensen Parkway and Interstate 680 all the way up, and has a little piece of Bennington now because of gerrymandering. But, I think that piece, I would be an Omaha senator. And so you really have to work with Omaha and local government around what does that look like from an ordinance perspective and how they have been criminalizing folks that are unhoused. So for the nonprofit I run, we have a building off of 24th and Grant. And I actually just had a friend send me a video of a young woman who was unhoused that was sleeping in front of our building. And she gave her a blanket. And I was like, okay, we need to think about that. Because even in the community, that building is technically in District 13 or 11. So right next door to 13. But it's like, again, these are our neighbors. These are the folks that we should be caring about. How can we make sure that they have the resources that they need, whether that's mental health services, navigating support around addiction, not having quality, apartments to rent, even if you don't want to buy, right? Like everything, your housing should be affordable. And so I think that is really a partnership with local government to figure out what does that look like and how can we invest in preventative opportunities and policies that then don't criminalize people for navigating not having literally a home.
Wow.
That kind of goes into, one of the main conversations I actually wanted to have with you as far as your policies around housing. And you kind of mentioned, as far as aging population and, populations dealing with addiction and things like that. But just the term affordable housing, actually, Majid Miller Jenkins in the chat asking, what does affordable housing mean to you? Says sorry for so many questions, but
I love questions. So
yeah,
yes.
that's what we're here for. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So, you know, the state of Nebraska does not have a definition of affordable housing, which is part of the problem. So Senator McKinney has before introduced a study, and other senators have tried to work to get that defined. But a lot of people just in general default to subsidize housing to be affordable. So that there's some sort of, again, entity or conduit that comes and pays for part of your housing, which that needs to be in place. And so you'll see some programs like at the city where they have for developers where they would come and underwrite part of a home so that then the actual loan piece is smaller that would go to that homeowner. So I think we need subsidized housing. I think we actually need a definition across the board around affordable housing. But if you don't qualify for subsidized housing, like how are your homes just affordable? And so we really need to make sure that we are incentivizing developers to look at how they're building. We can leverage more federal dollars to bring into the state to help with some of that, to make sure, again, as costs keep rising, whether it's construction costs or inflation in general, like people aren't going to be able to afford a new home and you want a nice home. The other piece is that we have a lot of old housing stock, so we haven't kept it up. So like there are homes that we could be redeveloping, remodeling, but no one has invested in that older housing stock to make it where somebody wants to take that over. So there can be programs and funds for that. And then after you get in your home, after you do updates, right? Like people are having the conversation about property taxes because your home will be assessed and then your property taxes could raise so high that then you can't afford to stay in it. And so we also have to make sure we really address the burden of property tax without cutting necessary services by the state. So like not cutting Medicaid, not wanting to consolidate all of our school districts and have the state take it over, and really touch OPS, right? Like that's the biggest line item when you look at property tax across our state budget is our OPS budget. And so it's complex, but I think the difference is we need experts that have been working in the space to come together to work on the policy. So, right, like I have seen people in Lincoln that just try to come up with the ideas on their own that don't really represent community or haven't been in the space. And so we need to talk to like people that want to own homes, and we need to talk to developers. We need to talk to folks that need an affordable assisted living and say, like, what does this look like when you actualize it? Like, what is it that you're needing? And have them be a part of the policy curation process. So then once it's implemented, it doesn't cause harm and actually meets the needs of our community.
Interesting.
Okay.
You mentioned a little bit about the school, about the OPS situation. Maggie Miller Jenkins is also asking on that topic. I'm also interested in your opinion on public school versus the vouchers. This is a question keeps coming up for everybody, everywhere, all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do believe public dollars should go to public schools. I don't believe it should go to vouchers. And I've had experience both in public and private schools, personally and with my children. So early in my career, I actually work at a charter school in Dallas. It's called KIPP Truth Academy. KIPP is one of the biggest charter school movements. And actually in Texas, they're pretty successful. They have a model where there is oversight for charter schools. So I have worked in that space in education and access for Black and Brown students. And then coming back to Nebraska, I'm learning, right, around our political landscape around charter versus private versus public. My son attended Mandela. He's back in public school now. And then I went to Brownell Talbot for middle school, and then I graduated from North. And so, like, again, I've had personal and professional experience. And I think, for me, I want parents to have autonomy over where they send their children, and it should be accessible. So if you choose private school for your child, if you choose Jesuit school, if you want public school, every option should allow your child to thrive and have quality education. For me, when I personally was in a private school setting and navigating that for my children, I did not feel like I had autonomy and could advocate for them the same way I could in public. I couldn't go to the school board and say, hey, you got to listen to me because these are my taxpayer dollars. And so for me, going to public school or private school didn't work for my children. For me personally, when I went to private school, I felt the institutional and explicit racism of being one of the only few with no accountability of how they treated their students. And so I was harmed by their policies and their approach to lack of inclusion. And so, right, like I struggle with that, but parents have to make the decision that's best for them. If they want their kid in or private school and that works for them. But I do believe that our public dollars, because they're public, they have to stay in our public education. We have to have oversight over them. And then we have to actually not just keep public dollars with public schools, but actually invest in public schools. And so one of my policy initiatives is legalizing and decriminalizing marijuana so that we can use that as a revenue stream to really invest in the resources in our public education. In our district, by my house, majority of the schools are failing, right? And so I have choice over 6 schools, but is that really a choice if they're all failing? If they don't have, teachers that have master degrees or plus, or they're not fully staffed and have amenities where they can offer instruments or art class, right? Like, so we really have to make sure that our schools are a resource, and we need to think of innovative revenue streams to bring that in. We can also legalize online gambling and tax that too, right? Like, so we can think about what needs to happen to bring in the resources needed to really ensure that public education is strong. And outside of K through 12, I believe that should happen in pre-K. So we got to start earlier with really making sure that pre-K is available for students, and then also post-secondary. So you might not want a 4-year degree at a public university, but you may want to be credentialed and learn a trade, or you may want to go to the community college and start there. And so how do we make sure that our post-secondary educational journeys from a public standpoint that's accessible to people, that the state is really providing opportunity? And so for me, when I talk about public education, it's more expansive than just K through 12, but I recognize the importance and the things that are happening right now in K through 12.
Man, beautiful. I would just add, just personally, being here in Georgia, my youngest daughter is, getting into that preschool age, and I'm looking at programs like, okay, what options are out there for me as a parent? So I do appreciate, your sentiment of expanding it beyond K through 12, and possibly even supporting, state subsidized preschool, because I found a program that is free, and I'm like, yes, yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to, like, your educational system invest in your economy and the future of your workforce, right? So you want a strong, competitive workforce that can navigate the changes in technology with AI, or can come up with the next innovation, right? Like, that's what we want. And so if we're not investing in the education of our people, like, we can expect to be the Nebraska of the future, or even like, nationally. Like, how do you compete in a global market now? And so, I think for working parents that are expanding their family and want these opportunities, why are we not supporting them to have the best education for their children, or that it comes at a cost that we can't afford, right? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And so I think that's a place where the state really needs to invest and look like, what is our role in that? And how do we partner with organizations, or even like, I know Erica, you just talked about in the chat, is a in-home childcare provider, right? And so like, what would that look like to invest in her business, because she does serve students that are pre-K, right? Like, before they go into the educational system at a school. And so I think we need to be more creative in our approach and really look at how do we invest in our ecosystems.
Man, I really appreciate your comments on this, and your personal experience that you're sharing too is heavy. You made me look at the situation a lot differently, just relaying that. So I appreciate it very much.
I mean, and not everyone agrees, right? Like, some folks do agree on agree that vouchers are okay. And there's been conversations in Black community. I think the hard part is that we don't talk about it, right? Like, it feels kind of taboo. Like, oh, if I have a different opinion, then we can't like dialogue and have discourse and then figure out a solution. And for me, I'm like, let's talk about it. I want to hear your point of view. Like, why do you believe that? And like, how do we find an alignment and a solution that is not rooted in just my thoughts and your thoughts, but really the person that is most impacted, which is our children, right? Like, how do we curate that best solution for our babies?
Well, now I know why you like coming on this show. This is exactly what we try to foster right there. That
healthy dialogue.
Yes, yes.
Now, sometimes your chat, it do be dragging people. Now, so I can't, I'm not able to see you lately. So I don't know if I'm getting drugged right now in the chat, but y'all do be dragging people.
You see me always, you see us always trying to be on here, trying to regulate that a little bit, because we definitely have a purpose for being here, and we try to keep that online. I don't like to tell grown people what to do, but I also want to be like, listen, this is what we are trying to do here. So we're working on it. RG was cracking me up. He said, wow, Brownell Talbot to North is mad switch.
Hey,
well, let me tell you what happened.
These up.
So my mom, who is now passed away, it is my best friend and the greatest mom ever. And like as an adult, like I just see all the stuff she did, and I'm like, man, she was so amazing, and I miss her. So in 6th grade, I was at Fontenelle Elementary. So still in the district. I lived in this district my whole life, and I was getting in trouble. This was the Crossroads Gadzooks era, and I was doing things I was not supposed to do, and my mom was like, not at all. So I'm sending you to Brownell.
Wait a minute. What was the Gadzooks era?
Where like you go to the Crossroads, you get dropped off. I'm still in t-shirts from Gadzooks, and like I was bad. I was bad in the 6th grade.
For somebody who didn't grow up here, that sounds crazy to me. That what you just said.
Yeah. So Crossroads is where the Target was.
Right. Yeah.
72nd. Yeah. You missed the era, Paul. You
yeah.
Okay, my bad. So you was getting in trouble.
And my mom was like, no. So she sent me to like a school where I would not know anyone and like a fresh start. And so I was a scholarship kid. Brownell is very expensive. I'm very affluent. And I tested into Brownell and I got a full scholarship. And so I was like one of 3 like Black Americans. They're very culturally diverse. So like folks from Russia, folks that are Hindi, but Black Americans, they did not have, there were 3 of us at the time. And so my experience, right, they didn't understand me. And for me, it wasn't like looking back, right? Because then at that time I didn't know what was happening, but I knew I was different. There wasn't an intention. So like they didn't celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. They didn't do anything for Black History Month. I've always talked this way. And I remember auditioning for a play, and like the lead character of the storyline was like a Black person. I'm like, oh my God, I got this. Like I'm one of 3. Like I got this. And I remember my theater teacher telling me, no, actually talk Black. So like I keep saying the lines over and over, and she's like, no, you're not talking Black enough. And I'm just so confused. I didn't get the role, and I told my mom, and now reflecting back, she went up there and raised hell. But it's like, again, I kept having these experiences of me being different. Like our apartments, we lived in Kellam Knolls. This is when they were first built, right off of coming in. Our little 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment can fit in the room of one of my colleagues, like my classmates. Like they would go to Switzerland for the weekend. They had credit cards. And I'm like, Mom, where's my credit card? My mom was like, what the hell are you talking about, girl? So like, it was a different world that I was not a part of, right? Like my mom worked hard to provide for us, and I didn't realize where we were economically, because my mom did everything she needed to do to make sure I had every opportunity, right? Which is a lot of families in our community. Like you just provide and you figure it out. And so
my mom was the same.
I was able to break out of private school because I did what I needed to do. And so I went to North because of just, the quality of the school, V up all day. And I had a great experience. I played volleyball there. I was recruited. I went to college. Like I've had a great career, and so it was a crazy jump going from Fontenelle to Brownell back to North. But I think it's helped me shape my experiences, especially of how the world perceives certain people with certain identities, and how you have to navigate, right? And so it was very interesting. And yeah, as an adult, I reflect back on a lot of things, and I'm like, wow, like it clicks, because at the time when you're a kid, you don't really recognize all of the things that are in front of you.
Look, I'm in documentary mode right now, so my mind is going, she reached the crossroads. Giving some Gadzooks. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that story. That tells a lot. I think that we're going to continue to have many more conversations with you on education. I really am taking a lot away. I'm going to go back and watch this, and I encourage everybody to watch this show. If you missed any parts of this interview, go back and watch it on YouTube, because you brought out some points. We've been talking about this for a minute, and these are some brand new points. I'm feeling like just hearing your personal story about about your journey there. So I appreciate
well,
that
thank you
very
for
much.
that. Yeah.
It's 8:43 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, that is, and we have some agreements that we try to stick with, which is to get you on your way. So we definitely want to start talking a little bit, real quick, about some of the things that you got coming up, because you got some events, some door knocking, some phone
Yeah.
banking and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of bring those out if I can find them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you don't have to live in the district to support my campaign. I would love to earn the vote and trust of folks that are residents. But I will be a senator for all, right? Like advocating in Lincoln. And so it's going to take everyone to ensure my success. And so every Wednesday today at the Nebraska Democratic Party headquarters, at the location off of Pacific, we have phone and text banking. So you can come, we buy pizza. You can go and sign up this Saturday. For the next few Saturdays, I have door knocking. So you can come and canvas with me, get some steps in. The weather's not too bad. We always pick a turf where it's relatively flat because these hills in the district will kick your butt. And so, but would love for folks to just come out and just be in community with me again. If you are unable to door knock or phone call, we also have postcards that you can pick up, and you can write to folks in the district about why you support my campaign and why you would hope that they would as well. And so you can visit my website, Ashlei, ASHLEI, for Nebraska, all spelled out.com. And then you can sign up. You can learn more about my policies. My contact information is there. But, we're almost at the 30-day mark. So, we've been grinding. And these last 30 days are so important. And I would also say, if you are not registered to vote yet or are not sure, to just make sure that you go and check, make sure that you have your registration information, where you are supposed to vote. Early voting ballots you can request now. And that's honestly easier because you can do that from your home. You can take the time to research each candidate and issue that is on the ballot. And then you don't have to worry about day of, oh no, I have to work, or, oh, this came up and you can't get to the ballot box. So request your early voting ballot if you're unsure if you can get there on November 5th. And then make sure you're researching up and down the ballot. There's going to be really important issues like abortion access, medical marijuana vouchers that we talked about, paid sick leave, the city will have some bond stuff on there. There's going to be really important issues, and people, we got to show up because they don't think that we do. And I know that we do. That's the reason why I won in the primary, because people in my community showed up and they were excited and ready to use their voice as their vote. And so we just have to continue that in this general.
Precious McKesson is in the chat. Good morning. She says, can we shout out all the Black women running for office?
There you go.
Because you know what? It is hard. And I know we wrapping up, Paul and Buddy. But it's a different experience that I did not understand until I came in. I thought I did. And I did not understand the way in which we have to operate that does not allow us to be our full selves, that does not see our value, that makes us get questioned at a higher rate. I have every award that I could win. I'm USA Today Woman of the Year, and people still question. I passed really great policy, and people still question, do I know what I'm doing? Or after I finish talking to them, I still get the "you're so articulate." I run a $5 million organization. Why wouldn't I know how to put words together? Right. And so, yes, and to people that have paved the way, like Brenda Council,
I am Ashley.
Alicia Shelton has run. Jasmine Harris just announced that she's running. Kimara is running. It is tough when you decide that you want to represent your community and get into public service. And it is really hard. And so I'm just thankful for all of the folks that are in this space and wanting to make a change. And we just got to keep working together.
Yeah. And even once you get in the space, you still got to stand strong, point in case how they treated Sister Juanita Johnson. So,
exactly. Keep your mental and just make sure that, and we got to have a safety net in our community where we can hold each other accountable, but love each other, right? We gotta have that soft space for us to land. So
that's real. That's real. I'm just showing a little bit of the video. We were out with you. I don't know if you got this, but man,
I did. I need to finish watching it so I can tell you if I love all of it.
It was tracking though.
But it was good.
The highlights here. You out here doing the work, the real work. We got that into you, and we want to make sure that you like what you see before we release that. But
absolutely, I got my little fanny pack. That's where I keep my dog mace and my keys.
Hey, got to be more careful. But before we let you go, a few people in the chat did say they're interested in helping you pound the pavement. So just really quickly, how can people get in contact with you?
So if you visit my website, ashleyfornebraska.com, you can sign up there on the Get Involved page. I also have, I have a Twitter, but I don't use it. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And so you could also DM me if you wanted and say like, hey, I want to come door knock, and then we'll go out together and we'll just get it situated. So
there you go. Got it in the chat, so you guys go ahead and click that and get involved. Really appreciate that. Also, Brief Fools is adding. It's also so much harder for Black women to fundraise, even to even run in the first place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is so, yes. And Bree knows from being an elected official and then now being the campaign manager for Jasmine. Again, and we see that everywhere, right? Like Black women and our work are underfunded. I see that in my nonprofit. I've seen that politically. But yet we are always called to fix the issues. We are at the helm of every social movement providing leadership and sacrifice. But people do not invest in us in the same way. And so Ivy Black Girl, this is kind of a preview, has just launched and will be making it public our C4, which will allow us to build Black political power in a very different way. It's called Black in Action Collective. And Alicia Shelton is actually our board president. And Chantel Mowry, who's an attorney and brilliant and does everything in the community, is our founding secretary, so our part of our founding board. And that is the goal. Like, we want to build Black political power because it is harder for us. And so I'm thankful for everyone that has lifted me up, like Precious, Jasmine, Alicia, in this space. And we just got to continue to work together. Like, we're gonna get it done, and we're going to change it so it's not our same experience for the next set of leaders that come into the work. So
yeah, they come in with the support. They come in ready. So
exactly.
Well, we got, but that's enough. Thank you.
We really appreciate the time. We have to have you back again at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you say bye, A-Sun?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good job.
His name is A-Sun?
Yep, like a sun in the sky. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking A-Sun Unique, man. Rest in peace to Old Dirty Bastard. Yeah.
My husband is God body, so he's a 5%er. So
know, man. Peace to the God, man.
Yeah, his name is A-Sun Divine.
Yeah. Peace to brother Skilo, man. Definitely make sure y'all check out Best Burger. Support this sister and all the hats that she wears. Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to the 5%ers too.
Peace to the guys, man.
Peace to the guys.
Absolutely.
Peace to you too. I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll have you back soon.
Yes, it's good to see y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Likewise. Peace.
There you go. It's always a pleasure to speak with Miss Ashlei Spivey.
Man,
dropping some gems.
Yeah, man. I was actually very appreciative of her answers. I was kind of curious. Again, she, as you know, working with Ivy Black Girl leader, and already pushing policy as far as reproductive justice and things like that. But definitely happy to hear her stance on education, housing, a lot of the other issues that are still top of mind. So
there you go. Yeah. We'll take a quick break and come right back and finish out the last 8 minutes of the show. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
I'll
be, but the God. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
That's
right. Paul B, buddy to God. Been a
Yes,
great
yes.
show. It's been a lot of good comments going on here, man. Shout out to Precious McKesson for coming through on the chat. Peyton
Hey.
Zyla coming through. Appreciate that, man. I'm seeing some names here. Miller Jenkins always got great questions. Stacey Jean representing. Christy Nor, who I know was doing some walking. I think Pops tried to shout you out, said you have done some door knocking with them. So that's what's up. I appreciate all the work that you're doing as well. Vicky Young in the chat. That's what's up, man. We got some heads. Breathe full. Appreciate everybody that joined the chat today and that has added. I see Mike Lee in the chat as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
the thing. And somebody suggested earlier, I believe it was Tony Johnson or somebody suggested earlier about wanting to see the candidates come on regularly and speak. How come they don't do that on their stuff? I would highly encourage you to reach out to those candidates, reach out to everybody, and let them know, if they don't want to come on once a week and talk themselves, they can hit us up and we'll try to work something out to be able to bring them on so that we can have regular conversations with the candidates as well. Would absolutely love to do that, especially here in this season right now,
Yeah, man.
with the election coming up. So that's what's up.
Clock is ticking.
Precious says LD11 and LD13 are critical to protect and make sure we have representation.
Man, big time.
If you guys don't know about the dynamic duo, Senator Justin Wayne, Senator Terrell McKinney, and all the work they've done this past 4 years, we have to continue that. That's why even Justin Wayne and everybody has endorsed Ashlei Spivey to come in and take over D13 when he terms out, and then you can have that team up: Senator Terrell McKinney, and Senator Ashlei Spivey, if
Yeah.
that happens, and protect it for even some more years. These areas. So, yeah, I'm with that, big time, big time. Also, RG is saying Chantel Mallory for Douglas County Attorney. Get Don Klein out the paint. He's
Man.
come up with a name. That's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Ashley just mentioned is on that board with her. So yeah, in good company. It's not the first time we heard her name kind of thrown in the ring for Douglas County Attorney. Might need to reach out to her.
There you go. I like this right here. She says, we will be releasing a recording series on Ashley and Terrell this week. Oh, I did see
Okay.
some behind the scenes
Yeah,
on some
yeah, yeah. I
podcasts
remember
that you
that.
guys. Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
will
okay,
definitely
okay.
like to push that as well. So let us know
Yeah,
so we can spread the word on that one, man. We need more people talking. More people talking for real.
big time, big
Yeah.
time. As much turnout as we can get. So again, big shout out to those of you who are already registered and ready to do your duty and also pushing the line, man. Trying to get other people active. Again, we're here on First Sky trying to find solutions, and we're seeing that is one of the solution, regardless of how people might feel about it. As Precious, who's in the chat, always remind us if our vote didn't count, they wouldn't do all that they can to try to suppress the vote,
Yeah.
which definitely kind of changed our minds on things. So yeah, actually, can you put that back up? Some dates, for those who aren't registered, or even if you are registered, some things to look out for. Again, shout out to Sister Ashlei Spivey for keeping us on top of things. As you see, October 18th is the voter registration deadline, so you still have some time if you have not already registered, or if you have some loved ones out there, continue to remind them. Registration is still open. And then also you have some dates. Absentee ballot request deadline is the 25th of October. Of course, absentee ballot return deadline is November 5th, which is the day. And then also early voting. So, yeah.
Starting in 5 days. So October 7th.
Man,
Early
man,
voting is
man.
already starting, bro.
Right around the corner. So it begins. It begins.
3 minutes left in the show. Really appreciate everybody that's come through and had a lot to say here. Buddy, any lightning round stuff you want to jump into before we get out of here, or are you good with
Well, yeah. This is something we don't usually do here on the show. We like to focus on, our own backyard, like to focus on, locally, Omaha, East Side, as we like to call it. But nationally, there's some national and international news that we should at least be aware of. Again, shout out to Channel 7, who's actually looking at the impacts of the dock situation. Again, we kind of talked about it earlier this week, but it is official and it is coming, and we're reeling and waiting for the impacts of the dock workers. 45,000 dock workers and maybe even more walking off the job earlier this week, and leaving a lot of people kind of hanging in the balance, trying to figure out what is next, what is going on, and how wide reaching this impact will be, and it will reach very wide, even from the coast all the way into the middle, into Nebraska. Actually, Senator Pete Ricketts, former governor, is kind of talking about the potential of this, saying this has the potential to really disrupt our industries here in Nebraska, specifically agriculture. So I would hope the sides, the parties, would start negotiating again and come to some sort of agreement to avoid strike. Also, Senator Deb Fisher speaking up, saying, obviously, we want the workers to be able to express their grievances and negotiate, but to see an upheaval in our economy is not beneficial at all. But it looks like the longshoresmen and the dock workers are not falling weakly or falling by the wayside. It looks like they're kind of sticking their toes in and preparing for a fight. So no telling how long this will go, absent of a negotiation. But yeah, I would urge people to look more into that situation. Some crazy numbers I'm hearing, and seems like some price gouging and some good old greed from some of these corporations. So. Yeah. We'll definitely keep our eyes on that situation. And if you haven't already, please make sure to make your way to the stores. Make sure you don't necessarily panic buy or anything like that, but be vigilant, be prepared, because this can have a real impact on all of us. So.
Get you in back when all this stuff really went down in the pandemic, when there was a big toilet paper grab,
Man.
everybody was like, go on and get that bidet. So if you get that last, and you got one for now, because don't panic on the toilet paper. There's a lot of stuff to get ready for. We just went through this, so again, don't panic, but take note. Mama got in the chat real quick is saying League of Women's Voters has some info on an event this weekend with Don Bacon and Tony Vargas. Check out this powerful site. She put she put the link in the chat there, so appreciate that very much. And also, Precious is saying this Friday we host an event for Black and Latino men for Harris at Big Mama's with DNC Chairman Jamie Harrison. Must sign up to attend. She also has a link in the chat that you can go sign up to attend on that. So appreciate that very much. Appreciate that. And also, I'm seeing we didn't really get a chance to talk about it. It's already 9:00 if you believe in the concept of time, but we'll come back because we do need to talk about some of the things that's going on. The big moves happening. Maggie Miller Jenkins in the chat says bringing back up boycotting Israel denies access to FEMA funding. We need to talk about this a little bit on our next broadcast. We'll dig in because people are a little scared about World War III happening because of some things that are coming up. There won't be no local politics if that happens. So I mean, there will be, but you know what I'm saying. We try to focus on local, but national affects us in a big way as well. So,
speaking of drafts and things like that,
yeah. Speaking of drafts, woo,
yeah. I mean, hey, yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. RG is saying it again, trying to say, "Come on with the third hour." Look, bro, listen. We'll talk about it.
We appreciate the love, though. We appreciate the love, but
I mean, I also feel like you're right. It's more conversation is needed, but check out what they're doing over there with Senator McKinney and Ashley with the new podcast there. Anthony Rogers Wright has a podcast. Brother Wright, if you would put that in the chat, we appreciate a link to that. Also, they're talking about a little bit over there at 95.7 The Boss.
Yeah.
And don't forget Brother Sherman Wells, man. Sherman Wells page, especially his YouTube page and his TikTok page blowing up. Even his LinkedIn page, you definitely can keep up with some things that's going on with us in the neighborhoods, even on a closer level than you can even hear if you go check out his page. So shout out to Sherman Wells for doing that good work too. We got a lot of people that are talking. There's a lot of things coming up as far as Black journalism is concerned. Shout out to this Terry Sanders, who is holding down Omaha Star. A lot of places that we can look. I know it feels convenient to be able to come to one place, and we'll try to make this be the place that you can come to with the new website dropping and the things that we're trying to do on Fridays now, coming up, some broadcasts coming up for that in the next year coming up. So, there's a lot of, and 87, thank you, Precious, 87.9. The culture is also starting to be a good source.
Shout out to Mr. Soul.
There you go. Shout out to Mr. Soul, man. So we got a lot going on here as far as that's concerned. We'll try to consolidate as much and be kind of the Reader's Digest of all the Black news that's going on here in our area. But at the same time, it's all of our responsibilities to kind of go out and get that information from elsewhere, including the major channels too. Channel 7, channel 3 is doing some good work. KMTV is doing a few things. Believe it or not, we still hit Omaha World Herald from time to time. Lincoln Journal Star.
Nebraska Examiner,
shout out to him, big time, Flatwater. So we are definitely in need of people to kind of reach out, pull those articles, pull that information, put it on Friends of First Sky Omaha, and bring it to the chat when it's time to talk about it. So
Yeah,
appreciate that.
and also what we're doing. I see you, Tony Johnson, saying more hours is key. Conservative radio is killing the game in Nebraska. 4 hours of First Sky Omaha cannot compete. And yeah, we do understand that we are trying to put out more, and just more than just this. Like, there's other things that we're trying to do to spread more information and kind of ramp up kind of some of our output. So we are aware of that. And on that note, if you are interested in writing for us, there are some articles and some things that we're working on in the background as well and preparing for that. So beyond just the conversations that we're having on this platform, again, a part of the new website, there will be a place for articles to live and for you to kind of get other content as well. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel because there will be other content coming out as well. So we do know that there's more conversations to be had. We would like to have those conversations more often. We're looking to do that in different places and spread out so we can have it with more people. So again, we appreciate you, all the support, and we'll continue moving forward and doing what it is that we do.
That's right. Precious, we're all the way down for a
Yes,
Black Media meetup.
great
She
idea.
said she'll throw some money to help sponsor. Appreciate that. We'll definitely talk about it. Anthony Rogers Wright is reminding us Omaha Press Club at noon. Anti-genocide folk, you know what to do. I don't know what that's a call for. Hopefully, it's to make some people know what's really happening around here
Yeah.
because they need to know. Shout out to Omaha Press Club too, by the way. They hold
Get
it
down.
down as well. Yeah, they get down.
Yeah.
We're get ready to be a part of them, part of that scene too, as a Black press. So that's what's up. Also, Precious is saying this Saturday, Levon Stennis will host the Women of Color luncheon honoring Ashlei Spivey. That's what's up.
Okay.
I didn't
Here
see
for
a
that.
flyer for that. Yep.
Yeah, here for that.
Put that info in Friends of First Sky Omaha if you would, if people are interested in going to that. So appreciate that very much. Also, Tony Johnson saying candidates and parties only need internet and a webcam or phone. Like I said, man, I keep up with them. I see them doing some things. It's not the same as if they were to come on here and have a focused conversation all the time. We might be spoiling ourselves with being able to do that. I understand. But we're kind of also talking to a lot of people's campaigns, and everybody's kind of really doing the best they can to really kind of
Yeah.
get the word out. I mean, so they have campaign offices that are doing nothing but getting the word out. Not to mention, offices that like Precious is a part of the Democratic Party, also helping push. There's a lot of pushing out there. It's just where do you get your information? Is really kind of the question now. Where do you get your information? So, with that said, I want to say, remind everybody, please sign up to our newsletter, the Weekly Wrap.
Yes.
It's happening. It drops on Fridays. A lot of good information there. It is kind of a Reader's Digest, a little bit of some of the news and some of the stuff that we've talked about. There's also a survey on there that's asking those questions. Where do you get your news? What news do you think is important? Please fill out that survey and let us know. Shout out to everybody who's already done that. We're getting some good feedback and results from that survey, and highly encourage you to continue to do that. If you haven't signed up for the Weekly Wrap, I'll go ahead and drop that link in the chat for you to go ahead and sign up and do that. And love to get some feedback from you on that as well. You can also always hit us up at firstskyOmaha@gmail.com, and conversation can continue there too. So appreciate everybody that has done that already. Thank you. We already are past our agreed upon time to stop at 9:00. It's already 9:07. If you believe in the concept of time, you're right. We really could go on another hour with everything that needs to be talked about. But come back, like I said, check out the Weekly Wrap on Friday, and then we'll be back Monday to continue the conversation. And I'll have the senators on as well to continue our little education that we're getting from them on what's going on in our as far as laws and legislature is concerned too. So there you go. RG is still hollering Kimber for Congress.
Hey.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, camera, they calling you. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna get out of here, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, man. Again, a big shout out to Sister Ashlei Spivey for taking the time out of her busy schedule. Too many jobs, man. Running a burger business, running a nonprofit, full-time mom. It's a lot. It's a lot. On top of that, running the campaign
every day.
Man, getting out there pounding the pavement for real. So again, big shout out to Ashlei Spivey. Definitely love to hear what she had to say. If you want to learn more about her campaign, again, check her out. Ashlei for Nebraska. That's Ashley with an I for Nebraska. Everything spelled out. Yeah, check her out. So thank you for taking the time. And then thank you, all of you, the listeners, ghost listeners, chat chimers, monitoring spirits, everybody. We appreciate you. First time listeners, last time listeners. Thanks for coming through and joining the conversation with us and even asking us to stay a little longer. Again, Not quite yet, but again, catch the same time, same place here Monday and Wednesday, only on First Sky Omaha in the morning. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away, man.
Pop says, what a great show. Feels good. Can't wait till Monday. See you all then. Appreciate that, Pops. Very much. Kimmer Snipe says, great show. Man, we're getting praise from the best. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Matthew Miller Jenkins says, always love our Midwest goodbye. Yeah, we're gonna be on here saying our we had the hellos and how you doings before 7, and now we're gonna have goodbyes and have a good days for after 9.
Yeah,
I see.
another 10 minutes.
Thanks to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you, and thank you to the chat chimers allowing us to speak with you. Really appreciate everybody who is trying to have a good conversations, be respectful with each other, and speak to each other as if we were face to face, which is kind of what we want to continue to do here. There's a lot of chats all over the place, and there's a lot of trolling going on chats everywhere. So we're lucky to have a family full of folks here that come on and kind of know the rules and try to be as respectful as possible, and so on and so forth. And we always got to navigate and remind people what we're trying to do here with the conversation. But that's all good, man. Like I said, I ain't into telling grown folks what to do. I just would really want us to work in a area of respect and with the vibe of coming up with solutions for things.
Yeah.
And that's what it's here for. Mama Guy said, good show too. Appreciate that, Mama Guy.
Thank you.
Appreciate all of you. And you guys take care of yourselves over the weekend. And like I said, if anything comes up, put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook. Love to hear from you. Watch out for the weekly wrap on Friday. And then we will convene on Monday. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red